I drove field cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fearlessly Authentic. Super excited tonight. And with me, I have Elle Latham. What's up, Elle?
Hola. Holla.
I just did
Holla.
our first our first stream with Drew over on his YouTube, and I produced it, and it was his pilot episode. And I'm super excited about that.
Hey, people.
We're
How's
all
it going?
like worked up today.
Did anyone get my references?
Putting in work.
Those were jokes.
Let's see, what's Elle's thing? I can't see it.
Uh-oh.
Weird science. Science.
Yeah, Peaches is flying.
I remember.
And we can't unlearn. He can't unlearn. Like, we can't stop him from flying once he knows how to fly. So Steve is very scared.
I sit here in fear, trembling most of the time because he's looking at me like I could jump over your shoulder anytime I want, fat man. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Yeah. See?
He agrees.
He agrees. He's he's down with jumping and falling.
You're his mouthpiece.
Gracefully. He's like he keeps jumping and he flaps his wings and he lands pretty good now, but like the first couple times he was just like kind of falling with style, as it were.
It was clumsy, but now he's gotten good. He's done it a bunch.
Now he can do it.
I just remembered I watched sometimes people watch horror movies during the holidays during the fall season. Well, I watched The Howling for the first time the other night, and I did not know what to expect because I had only seen that one scene with the file cabinet, and that was it. And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what I'm doing." It was very sexual.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, good thing I didn't watch that back in the day because I would not have understood if I were younger." But it was kind of like a more mature, less funny version of the Werewolf in London, and also without American. Well, they were American, I guess, but it was like fish out of water, kind of like culty kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's kind of like in the vein also of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I watched the remake of recently. I had seen the original back in the day, a long time ago, but I watched the remake, and that was sexual too. Like there's a lot of sexual stuff in the 80s and 70s and shit.
Yeah, but, it seems like the middle 70s to the like middle 80s. There was like a lot of weird
boobage bushes.
And very fluffy, unkempt bushes. You know,
very anti-penis era in cinema.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for some women. But anyway, I watched The Howling. So Weird Science is not about the movie. Don't worry. I don't condone the movie. I watched it as a child and thought that it was okay. But I also realized in retrospect that that's one of those movies that they put out where they put teenagers in awkward positions with adults where they make you think it's okay. Where you can learn from that, like, oh, these kids are it's totally normal for these 15-year-olds to be with this 30-something-year-old girl. Like, it's totally fine. And I wanted at that time, I will go say, when I was a child and watching that, I can tell you that there's propaganda out there, pro-pedophilia, pro-ephebophilia, whatever it is. But they do that because as a child, I wanted these two schmucks to get with her. And I'm like, what? Why? Or one of them. I wanted one of them to get with her, and he was way underage and in real life too, which makes it even worse. So I was like, wow. So Hollywood got me early. I tell you, I was all pro pedophilia without even knowing it as a child because they just threw it in your face like that.
It's really weird. But
I love the song, and I'm all about the song, and that's all I wanted to reference. But this is what I found very quickly before the show.
So it looks like we are up and going on Odyssey and on Rumble.
Yeah.
My body has ached more than it has ached in years today.
Yeah.
Body ache after body ache.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff though in films. Like there's a lot of minor stuff, and like once you start looking at it, you're like,
80s, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
it was like consent in a way. It was like, oh, we're just gonna like, you know, we're gonna make this a thing, and we're too bad. Peaches, really?
The kiss really bothers me now watching it back as an adult. The fact that 15-year-old boy, he's literally 15-year-old. You know, I did an age check. I always do age checks now. That's what you have to do when you're watching something to make sure. And I was like, damn, like he's legit 15. She's like 30. Kelly LeBrock. I don't know exactly how old she was. I think she was 30, but I don't know. But she's older than him by a lot, either way. And he's making out with her, and it makes me so uncomfortable thinking about it. And I don't think he had much of a career after that either. So I don't know what that says, but Anthony Michael Hall also was in it, and he was like used from the get-go, and who knows what kind of shit he was up to in those clubs when they were going with the Brat Pack and everything. Like, damn, they just didn't have any sort of childhood, some of these people, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what you know what happened, and that people just for the most part just ignored or didn't realize or didn't know to question.
Oh, and then they'll say, oh, it was a different era or whatever. They can say that about the 50s and 80s. They can say that about the 60s and the 90s. They'll say it about whatever period because they want to get away with it, because they want it to be normalized. But it's not normal.
No.
Shelley had this post about a movie that came out in 2020 called The Trouble with Being Born, which is about a sex robot that's a child. Like, it's super weird, 10 years old. And like, you know, she had a retweet about it from Jason Burmis. Shout out to Jason Burmis, I guess. But he was talking about it. And I was like, yeah, even the critic who from Variety, who did the review, which says a lot of what happens in the movie, by the way, so you don't have to watch it. So, you know, shout out to that chick, sorry. And she, or whatever, I don't know what she identifies, who knows anymore. But anyway, because she was talking about identity and gender and all this stuff in the article, I mean, in the review, because that's what they tackle in the movie or whatever. But it's just like, you know, she noticed the transhumanist pedophilia agenda in it and was like talking about it. So it's just like so crazy to think about. Like, now we're gonna have robots everywhere, like these damn serve robotics, like delivery bots in my town, and automation, and, you know, Elon Musk owning us, I guess, in the metaverse, whatever they're gonna do. But like, they have to normalize everything first, because then people can't consent. So it's manufactured. It's manufactured consent, not just propaganda at this point.
Yeah, well, what Mouse said is predictive programming, and like exactly, that's exactly what it is. And like, people need to be aware of these things, and not just accept things on their face, because that is how we have things that happen. And then later on, somebody comes along and makes a big enough of a big enough of a deal about it, and then it becomes an issue.
Oh yeah,
like, we need to make it where it's not acceptable to begin with.
No more exploitation. Could we just all agree that we stop exploiting people? Like, it's not that hard not to exploit people. I do it every day. Just don't exploit people.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Bare minimum, please, Hollywood. Please, government. Please, everyone. Every organization.
I know. Like, can we just, human rights?
Let me get this right. Don't exploit. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay, the Corey, like, I didn't meet him. Goddamn. I saw Corey Feldman once in a Starbucks when I had moved here. I was like, oh, cool. There he is. Look at him. And I didn't say anything.
I probably wouldn't recognize most celebrities if I saw
because
them.
He was a grifter, and I kind of bought into his shit back in the day. Because, but I gave him a little money even at one point, I'm embarrassed to say, and promoted his GoFundMe, Corey.
Oh wow, Mouse, you should come on and do a show with us.
That's nuts.
Mouse said, I worked in the bowels of Hollywood as an editor and then producer. Lots of foul stuff. My mentor gave up directing after the CIA gave him the talk.
You have some stories. We need to hear them.
We would love to hear your stories.
Oh yeah. I have not many, connections in Hollywood. I did go to a premiere for a friend and met Andy Dick before he really went wild. And I knew at that time, I think, that he had basically killed Strickland from News Radio? No, that's Bill Hartman. See, there's so many people he's killed. Suddenly Susan, the guy from Suddenly Susan. And he's weird. And then he got like in these molestation charges and stuff recently. Like, I am not surprised. That dude is weird as fuck. I saw him once on a bike on Sunset Boulevard. I'll never forget. I was just walking at some time at night, and then he like was biking down the street because he probably lost his license or some shit for whatever reason. And just like was having trouble with his bike. And I was like, this poor man, like he's just been through so much, and by his own actions, been in all these things and TMZ and shit. Like, I was just like, this guy, he will never get his shit together, and he never did. But he got his shit together enough for that premiere. He looked like a normal person when I met him, but I knew he wasn't.
Did you have to come say hi to Elle?
Don't hang out with Andy Dick, sweetie. His son was fine, though. His son was on the open mic circuit, so I met his son a few times, actually.
So Mouse said, I only go on shows that wrench me, so just you guys. LOL. Yay!
Let's go.
Oh,
so
Applejack met Andrew Schultz.
Is Andy Dick?
Cool.
Is Andy Dick's son? Does he look like Andy?
Moby? No, he's Moby Dick, right?
I don't know. Is
no,
he?
I forgot his name, to be honest. Sorry.
Moby.
Andy Dick's son.
Nice.
I'm a Dick.
Have you met my son, Moby?
I'm not promoting Dick. No.
I'm wearing my WikiLeaks
it.
shirt that's from Lee Alex today.
Nice. Name dropper.
Shout out to Julian Assange.
Yes.
Free Julian Assange.
Free.
Yeah, speaking of, there was an awesome protest yesterday that they did that.
Yeah, the one in London.
Is it more of a like demonstration though?
Well, they had speakers, and they also went around. It was actually worldwide that they did them.
London was huge.
Yeah, the UK one was huge. Holy shit.
Rally, yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. I was
there is one person that I wanted to highlight if we could do that really quick. Just a
Moby keeps trying to date my friend's daughter. Like, he's so creepy, Mouse Edit says.
Oh man.
Moby is oddly enough somebody who just inspired me to be a vegan. I'm not ashamed to say, but like he was only one person. The main person was an actual person that I knew, who was my teacher in the behavioral school that I had to go to in 8th, 9th grade. And he's Mr. Isom. Shout out to Mr. Isom if you're listening, which you aren't. But anyway, thanks for all the peanuts every day. Like having peanuts at your desk made me want to be a vegan. Because I was already
amazing. That's pretty badass. Yeah.
So that was when I was 15 or so, when I was trying to be a vegan, when I was thinking about being a vegan. I started thinking about being a vegan seriously at 15. But I didn't become a vegan until later. Because, again, there are many aspects to it. There's the eating of things, and then there's the using of products. So you can't call yourself a vegan, in my opinion, if you still use unvegan products. So that's why I wouldn't say I was vegan, but I was vegan adjacent at that time.
So yeah, I wanted to show one of the clips from.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, you're fine. From the Assange rally. Ford Fisher, that does the news to share. He captured this.
Good independent journalist, no mainstream media for that guy.
Yeah, he's very that's what I like is that he just covers the stuff. He doesn't like give his his opinion and all of that. Like he just covers what it is and that's it. So but I think that her message is amazing.
March. See, that would, I guess, to a logical mind, that would seem like it would make
what, Steve?
Talking to the bird.
Oh, about how he's making a huge mess?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Leo's very, very pleased.
All right, there it is. All right, I'm going to mute me and I'm going to play this real quick. It's about, I think, 4 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. You guys should check out the different clips that they have from the Assange rally. But I felt like hers was just really like it really was touching and moving. And we're talking about this subject, and it ties right into Julian Assange and then not exploiting people. So I'm like, wow, this is perfect. Hang on 1 sec.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liza. I'm a survivor advocate for those affected by human trafficking. First and foremost, thank you so much to everybody that's made this beautiful event possible. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that has attended today. No thank you to the corporate press because they're not here. You're probably thinking to yourself, what on earth is a female survivor of human trafficking doing here and not over at the Women's March? See, that would, I guess, to a logical mind, that would seem like it would make more sense. But the truth is, without a free press, we will have no one to cover women's issues. We will have no one to cover survivors' issues. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here today to advocate for the freedom of Julian Assange. See, when I made the decision to advocate for others' freedom, I didn't want to stop with survivors of human trafficking or even just my own freedom. I want to advocate for all those who need to be free. Julian Assange is one of those people. But if we don't advocate for Julian Assange now, it will inevitably affect all of our freedom, especially press freedom. When it comes to survivors of human trafficking, we need an opportunity to speak out to a free press. We need whistleblower protection, and we definitely need free speech. We just do. Survivors need it. That's why I'm here today. Yeah. I couldn't look my fellow survivors in the face, the survivors that are going to walk after me. I couldn't look them in the face and say I did everything that I could do to serve them and know that I did not advocate for Julian Assange when it mattered. This is the beginning, but I'm telling you, it's coming for all of us. It's coming for all of us. We have to fight for our freedom. We have to fight for our right to speak freely. Thank God I'm an American. Oh, woo! It's all we got left. It's all we got left. Are you ready to fight for it? I am. I have a message for the ruling class, the global elites, the CIA, the FBI. Be a hero, quit your job, become a whistleblower. Yeah. But if you do not, I'm hyped today. If you do not, you can tell I get hyped when I walk around. If you do not, if it's a choice between free speech and the United States government, trust and know, one's got to go. If one has to go, it ain't going to be free speech. I can bet you on that. I can bet you on that one. Yeah. We aren't going to lose our free speech. God. I think I get so passionate about freedom because I know what it's like to lose it. And once you lose it and get it back, you don't ever want to lose it again. Yeah. It's really hard to get it back. I was thinking yesterday, and I wasn't going to add this in originally, but I know there's a lot of folks here that have been fighting this fight for a very long time. There are a lot of people that have been fighting for Assange for a very long time. Anyone that's been keeping up with what's been going on, there's been things going on, worldwide today, which have been really incredible to watch. And I had a message for you. As a survivor advocate, the days get long. You grow weary, you get tired, you get worn out. It's stressful. It's like you feel like no one's listening. You feel like there's nothing you can do. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Every day you wake up, you're like, what the hell? I gotta keep fighting for this. I see the Assange people is the same way. Thank you. And then on top of all of it, you'll have like Karen 9730065 on Twitter tell you, oh, Julian Assange wasn't, he was not a journalist. Yeah, right. Keep going. Please keep going. Because not only are you fighting for Assange, you're fighting for yourself, you're fighting for me, and you're fighting for survivors of human trafficking, some of our world's most vulnerable who need to have a free press and free speech. Thank you so much for letting me come today. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And thank you all for being here so much. Thank you.
I just thought that was just so powerful. So powerful.
Yep.
I mean, she packed so much into that. And, absolutely free Assange. We must. Yeah, I know. Free Assange. Exactly, Peaches. Exactly.
Shout it out.
He's going to say it one day. Watch. And then for the rest of his life, we'll hear free Assange.
Yeah. Well, hopefully,
And it doesn't matter what
build.
Yeah. What was that?
I was saying, hopefully, this momentum from will pick up steam. More light will be shone down on his name, and people will understand what's happening. There's still like half the people in this country don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you think of him, because I don't think much of Alex Jones, but I will speak up for his right to speak, because That's what I want people to do for me. I want to hear what he has to say so I can be like, well, that's bullshit, and here's why. Or, hey, I kind of agree with you on this, and maybe if you use this source, I'd take you a little more seriously. Whatever. Like, you can debate people, you can have differences of opinion and disagree with people, but don't cancel them out. Don't try to take over the conversation, which is what has been done in this and many other circumstances with other different people. But it's enough. Like, we all should be able to speak out whenever we can, and to expose war criminals for their war crimes who don't get put on trial or go to The Hague, which apparently doesn't have any fucking purpose. Like, they don't have to go on trial for their crimes. They just get away with them. And they're the ones who are free to do podcasts and shit while this dude's holed up in this embassy for a while, and then he's in prison and then extradited. That's insane to me. And that should be called out.
If you don't want to stand up for people that you don't agree with their speech, if you don't agree with their speech and you think that they should be censored because you don't agree, then you're not standing up for freedom of speech.
And they could say the same for you. It could happen to you just as quickly, because it'll come for everyone, like she said.
Back and forth.
It does. It literally has. It comes for Alex Jones's. It comes for like the people on the left.
Yeah, there's like 4 videos that have been like removed or whatever on YouTube because they don't like my speech.
Same thing with me, and all unlisted, of course. So
yeah, and you had unlisted videos on YouTube just sitting there, not even published, just sitting unlisted, and you got strikes live while we were doing
proof of that. I have proof. I have the screenshots, and I have like the actual pages that show that. So
I really
I'm not
hope
trying
that
to be
there's
part
going
of
to
a
be.
club or anything. There's no club.
Yeah, no, it's not a club I want to be part of. I don't want to be part of a club that gets censored. I don't want to be part of a censorship club. I really don't.
We are anti-censorship. Play the thing, you know, the thing. Fuck censorship. That's our
Exactly.
motto here.
Yeah,
Our motto, our credo.
Yeah, here we go. There. Showing.
There it is.
There it goes. Fuck censorship.
Fuck it to hell. With Klaus. No, I don't mean it. Bill Gates. The guy behind Klaus is what I meant. Snork's here.
Snork. So, speaking of censorship,
what a great segue we have.
I know everything's just fitting together like we planned it or something, and we did it.
Have you heard?
We just got to do this. This is just how it goes.
There's a lot of censorship news. It is what it is. Unfortunately.
So,
because it's an agenda.
This happened. So the Daily Wire comes out with this article, and I'm like, what? So this is October 8th, 2022. And PayPal reverses its plan to fine users $2,500 for misinformation after Daily Wire report. What? Yeah.
But they said it was because of Twitter and people being mad or whatever on the mass media, other sources. Like they were like, oh yeah, they saw the hate, the backlash online, and then they were like, reverse course. We didn't mean it. It didn't happen.
Yeah. So what originally happened is the Daily Wire came out. This isn't the article. I thought I had the original one. This is the updated version of the article. So this is like the after effect. But the Daily Wire came out because PayPal released its terms of service, where they said that they could fine users up to $2,500, sanction them if they didn't like the information they were giving on their own platform. They said if it was misinformation. So this is afterwards. I don't know if you guys heard about this. This is freaking nuts. I can't believe this.
Like an hour later, after a good amount of pushback.
Yeah, like it was immediate.
Yeah.
People were not fucking having it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I haven't read this article. I thought this was the other one that I just like bookmarked and pulled up before the show. So this is the follow-up one, but this should cover all of it. Let's see what it says. So a red feet, huh?
Sorry, I just want to say there should be a link in there, hopefully still, for the PayPal page where you can look at the policy yourself, like, and make sure what they're saying.
Yeah, of course they can. Remember.
Oh, here's the original.
Love PayPal, everybody. They're fantastic.
I found the original.
And the people at YouTube as
I
well.
found the original article. So hang on. I'm going to bring you to the original first.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that has the link to the PayPal policy, and then you can look through.
Yeah.
that.
I'm like, wait a minute here. Let me go backwards. Let's rewind. Rewind just
Does
a little bit.
anybody really read the user agreement? You should.
Sadly, I had to get like rent through PayPal, but then they kept taking fees out of my roommate's account, so it pissed me off because he had to pay me and PayPal on top of it, even though he had friends and family as a choice, but they don't let him use it anymore for some reason on their stupid website. They let me do it, but they don't let him do
Okay.
it.
Rude.
That's insane. That's absolutely like you live in the same freaking place. Like, what the fuck? Would you
Like
just
he's
start
giving me
paying
money for rent, like, and then I have to get an invoice and shit. Like, come on,
Oh my gosh.
this is not a service. But they don't let him change it. They won't let me change it anymore either. That's another policy they have where they got rid of the send money to family or friends with no fees. Now they put fees on every fucking thing, so they get some money back.
Yep.
It's disgusting. Fuck you, PayPal. Said it.
It's awful. It's really awful. And this was like a huge red flag for people. So this was October 7th. 2022. So, new PayPal policy lets company pull the $2,500 from users' accounts if they promote misinformation. I was like, wait, what? When I saw this come out, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell is happening here? Can't be true. I'm like, is this a parody? Like, I really like it went through my mind of like, whoa, they're either saying the quiet part out loud or this is a parody. Is this real? Like, I had to investigate. And
will it say what it was in the changes area where it says changes? That should take you to the page. But are they going to have like the cleaned up page and be like, oh, nothing happened here? I'd like to see if they have it still, or if they're like, oops, you can't go there anymore.
Yeah, we'll
like
have to
go to changes right there.
Yep.
Right below.
Yep.
That should take you to the page, and we'll see if they cleaned it up or not.
Yeah, I'm just going to read this part right here. So a new policy update from PayPal will permit the firm to sanction users. There we go. There's that. That's what I was talking about. Who advance purported misinformation or present risks to user well-being with fines up to $2,500 per offense. Who gets to decide that? PayPal gets to decide whether or not we're fucking. So, yeah. So the financial services company, which has repeatedly deplatformed organizations and individual commentators for their political views, which will expand its existing lists of prohibited activities. On November 3rd, among the changes are prohibitions. I'm saying that right? On the sending, posting, or publication of any messages, content, or materials that promote misinformation or present a risk to user safety or well-being. Users are also barred from the promotion of hate, violence, radical, or other forms of intolerance that
racial.
is discriminatory. Oh, racial. Yeah.
So let's see what they did to this page.
This is a PDF.
Exactly. That's why I want to see if it exists still. I bookmarked it, but I don't know if it's.
I don't see anything here. There's nothing here.
That makes sense because they would erase it and they'd be like, "It didn't happen."
Oh, let me show you guys. There's nothing there. Let me add that to the screen because it's a different window.
Because they do try to just erase mistakes that they make.
But yeah, so this is it. This is what I was looking at. This is their PDF right here. It's
empty. Oops. But it was an oopsie.
Nothing.
That's not the final version.
Nothing to see here. That's
totally
literally.
They literally hold it.
So
but
yeah,
it does exist, guys. I saw it yesterday, and I'm sure she looked at it too. I looked at it yesterday. It was it was a few pages.
I'm sure somebody must have screenshotted that PDF or downloaded the PDF because that's
definitely
insane.
It's on the internet. Like fuck y'all. It's on.
I know, like they think it's just gone. You know, woo! Nothing to see here. Oh my god. Wait, is this the right one or is this the second? Yeah, this is the right one. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the company's current acceptable use policy does not mention such activities. The Daily Wire reached out to PayPal for definitions of the added terms, although no response was received in time for publication. Like, this is not like, so, deliberations will be made in the sole discretion of PayPal and may be subject to the user to damages, including the removal of $2,500 debited from your PayPal account per offense. So if they were offended by me not going with a mainstream media narrative, they thought, okay, yeah, we'll just put this in here and make it where $2,500 could be debited for Lucky. You know, it's fine. I don't even have that kind of money in the bank. So the company's user agreement contains a provision in which the account holders acknowledge that the figure is Presently, a reasonable minimum estimate of PayPal's actual damages due to the administrative cost of tracking violations and damage to the company's reputation.
Can we open
we're going
that
to damage
user
their reputation. They're worried
Would
about
that
their
open?
reputation.
Do you think
PayPal.
that page would open?
Huh?
Do you think that page would open, the user agreement? Or will it be the same thing?
That one probably
I don't know
is.
if they get rid of that one. I think that's, etched in stone, whatever they think.
Yeah, no, that's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can go to that
They've
after.
been censoring before like this, they're making you pay for the censorship now.
Yeah, they're like, if we have to censor you, you're paying a fine. So under existing law, PayPal has the ability as a private company to implement this type of viewpoint discriminatory policy.
Viewpoint. That's funny.
Viewpoint discriminatory policy. What a freaking way to phrase that. Yeah, I mean, they're like, if we don't like your speech, then we're just gonna fine you. But we won't. But what
They
is
have the
that?
ability. As a private company.
We can just come after your money privately.
They say
it's
that
like
for everything. Private company.
And I guess at the same time we can decide to not use these private companies. But we're very limited. It's not like we have hundreds to choose from.
And they're all the same fucking tards.
Because Venmo is PayPal. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. But Venmo and PayPal are the same thing.
Bastards.
So Aaron Tur is senior
That's
program.
the tard I meant. Bastard. Go on.
Senior program.
I'm taking it back and I'm making it bastards. Go on.
Senior program officer at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression explained to the Daily Wire whatever motivation PayPal has for establishing these vague new categories of prohibited expression, they will almost certainly have a severe chilling effect on the user's speech, as is often the case with ill-defined and viewpoint discriminatory speech codes. What? Those with unpopular or minority viewpoints will likely bear the brunt of these restrictions. Yeah, because, okay, think about it. Think washing your hands used to be like this whole like extremist behavior. That wasn't the consensus when it first came out. Smoking cigarettes when you were pregnant, that was a normal thing. Like, so do you think the first people that came out and said that, do you think that their speech would have been restricted? In these times, for sure. They probably called them quacks, the people, that did that. That's what they do. They go after people and they just discredit them.
Mouse said, say something, pay something, bitch.
Oh my God.
Yep.
So
Just
the move
making people more poor. Like, that's going to help everyone.
Exactly.
Exactly. They're like, we're just gonna,
make everybody be as poor as possible and make sure the people who are not poor have access to their money. As long as they say what we say.
Well, I mean, think about what they did to the truckers,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking about.
So the move comes days after PayPal canceled 3 accounts linked to Toby Young, a commentator who runs a nonprofit called Free Speech Union. The organization has defended clients such as actor-comedian Russell Brand, who recently moved his show from YouTube to Rumble in reaction to censorship from the former platform.
And now Rumble's owned by certain people who are not the greatest.
Yeah, Rumble. Yeah, I know. And we still use Rumble just like we still use YouTube, and we still use these things. It doesn't mean we agree with their policies. It just means that we are very limited
We
right
can
now.
coexist. How about that? We're normal individuals who can coexist in society with people. Amazing. You think PayPal would get on board, but no.
I know. Like, I don't, my
Remember
speech.
that line, coexist? Like, there was like a whole fucking phrase, like coexist, and it was like on bumper stickers and shit. That
was like about religion.
Right?
That was about religion coexisting. Like, we can all have our different beliefs, and we can exist together at the same time, and that can
Not
happen.
just a bumper sticker for Christians. It's legit.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was for everybody.
No, I'm just saying, like, let's make it a thing for everyone. Like, let's be inclusive with the coexist phrase, please.
Yep. So roughly 1/3 of Free Speech Union members rely on PayPal to process their membership dues, although the company gave no explanation to Young for the suspension beyond mentioning a breach of the acceptable use policy. PayPal later restored the accounts after receiving criticism from lawmakers and apologized to Young for any inconvenience caused. And that was according to the Telegraph. So platforms such as Amazon, Twitter, and Facebook have formally censored conservatives and others who subscribe to heterodox positions or controversial social issues, including transgenderism and homosexuality.
Are there homodox positions I don't know about? I've never heard of heterodox.
I don't know.
I'm gonna write that one down. Vocabulary now.
So GoFundMe sees millions in funds raised for trucker protests in Canada. Yep, like we've just mentioned earlier this year. Well, Google recently began suppressing each search results for crisis pregnancy centers. So, like when we're talking about Julian Assange being free, and that we are all at risk, they are coming for us. They literally are coming for everybody. And this is just a prime example of it. So these kinds of policies are unwise, threaten free speech, and invite illegal risk. So when companies apply policies to restrict the religious speech of their customers, they run afoul of prohibition. Oh my gosh. Prohibitions on religious discrimination that exists in many state and federal laws. So PayPal also sanctioned Gays Against Groomers, a group that opposes the sexualization of children. Imagine that. They're like against children being over-sexualized.
And gay people, apparently.
Yeah. Like they are already a minority. And yeah, they're Gays Against Groomers got sanctioned by PayPal.
Not very inclusive of them at all.
The company featured a rainbow-colored banner on their social media platforms during the month of June, though.
That makes up for it.
So that's the article. And I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it I'll put it in our show notes. And so that is the first article. And let's see, we can pull up the user agreement so we can look at that real quick. And then we can go to the next day where they
oh, you're putting it in.
They changed it.
Oh yes, there it is.
Yep.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah.
Not very good, really, because it sucks. But if you read all this shit on all these websites, you'll just see how restricted you are in accessing these.
Yeah, restricted activities. Like, what the fuck?
They say it. They don't say it in a sweet way. They say it in a mean way. They're being obvious about how they feel.
So they're saying, in connection with our use of our websites, your PayPal account, the PayPal services, or in the course of your interactions with PayPal, other PayPal customers, or third parties, you must not breach the user agreement. So you can't violate any law, statute, ordinance, or regulation. Like what? So their examples are those governing financial services, consumer protections, unfair unfair competition, anti-discrimination, or false advertising.
Can you zoom in a little bit so we can see it a little bigger?
I think so.
I speak for the audience with the eye problems.
Is that closer?
No. I'm getting too old for this shit. There it is.
I don't want it to go. Oh, I don't want it to cut it off.
That's good. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. That looks better.
Yeah.
Do we agree in the chat?
I can see it better, even on my phone.
Eye problem people, you like it?
It's much better.
Okay.
It's much better for the old people. I'm speaking on behalf of all the hard to see and hard to read people.
That's what we're doing. Yes, we're speaking on their behalf.
That's right.
No porn. Okay.
So no, you can't sell counterfeit goods. Like I could see, yeah, like fine, whatever. But I don't understand how these guys should be responsible for, like, why am I responsible? Like, why are they lawing me? You know what I mean? Like, are they like the law enforcement now? Like they think like it should just be, they're a platform. This is what they do. If I do something that breaks the law, then it should be up for the law to find that out and have an issue with me, not for PayPal to have an issue with me. You know what I mean? Like they shouldn't be able to police me. Not that I want to be able to do things that are against the law, you know, per se, allegedly, or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't feel like they should have the right to tell me that I can't sell counterfeit goods. I mean, it's like double breaking the law. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you can violate the law. You can break the law by actually, you know, like breaking law, but you can also break PayPal law. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're doubling up on it. So that you can't act in a manner that is defamatory or trade libelous, threatening or harassing, false, inaccurate, misleading information. Well, define that. Who's going to tell me what's fake, inaccurate, or misleading? So if I
Nice.
And who checks them?
The other fact checkers, they're independent. Don't worry about it. That's what they said in Congress.
You can't send or receive what we reasonably believe is potentially fraudulent funds. How do you know?
But on Twitter, everyone can be a fact checker now. Bird, watch, yay, everybody. We can all be fact checkers. What I've always wanted to do in my entire fucking life is fact check other fucking people.
Well, look at this. Refuse to cooperate. Other people. Yeah. Refuse to cooperate with an investigation or provide confirmation of your identity or any information you provide to us. What the fuck? Attempt to double dip during the course of a dispute by receiving or attempting to receive funds from both PayPal, the seller, the bank, or card issuer in the same transaction. See, now I could see that as being something that they could have as their, you know, use that's related to PayPal directly.
Parity's being challenged in court as well.
Yeah. Control an account that's linked to another account that's engaged in any restricted activities. Conduct your business or use PayPal services in a manner that results or may result in complaints. What? You can't have a complaint.
You better not. You get a fine.
Requests by buyers either filled with us or card issuers to invalidate payments made to you. See, like some of these things actually apply to PayPal, you know, like they're actual PayPal things. Other things, it's well beyond their fucking reach. Fees, fines, penalties, and other liability or losses to PayPal or PayPal customers, third parties to you. What does that even mean? Like, you can't conduct your business.
I'll send it over to the legal team.
See here. Conduct your business or use PayPal services in a manner that may result in. So if it results in fines or fees or liability or losses to PayPal or other PayPal customers, like you can't do that. Like, okay.
Yep. You can't say the word Syria in a PayPal transaction.
Yep. Nope. There are certain words that will get it immediately flagged and banned.
That's very true.
You can't allow it to. You can't have a negative balance, but they can take money from you. Don't forget that. They can do it to you, but you can't do it to them. Provide yourself a cash advance from your credit card or help others do so. Access to PayPal services from a country that's not intended on PayPal's permitted countries list.
Permitted countries.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like these are just, like I'll let people, if I'll put the link in there if you guys want to check out the rest of it. But yeah, like you can't threaten employees, agents, or other users. And here's the actions that they can take against you if you violate any of that stuff. They can suspend your account. They can close it or suspend your PayPal account and any linked balance immediately and without penalty to them. Refuse to provide PayPal services to you in the future. Limiting your access to websites, software systems, including any networks and servers that any servers used to provide any of the PayPal services operated by us or on our behalf. Your PayPal account or any PayPal services, including limiting your ability to pay or send money with any of the payment methods linked to your PayPal account. Holding your balance. They can hold your balance. In your balance account, the balance in your business account, or the money waiting to be claimed through your personal account if you have not if you do not have a balance account linked to your personal account for up to 180 days if reasonably needed to protect against the risk of liability, or if you have violated our acceptable use policy. The hold may remain in place longer than 180 days, according to court orders, regulatory requirements, or other legal processes. Yeah. They can suspend you. They can charge the high volume dispute fees. Like, basically, they can take legal action against you. Oh, what's this right here? I see $2,500 violation. Okay. If you're a seller and receive funds or transactions that violate the acceptable use policy, then in addition to being subject to the above actions, you will be liable to PayPal for the amount of PayPal's damages caused by the violation of the acceptable use policy. You acknowledge and agree that $2,500 US dollars per violation of the acceptable use policy is presented a reasonable minimum estimate of PayPal's actual damages, including but not limited to internal administrative costs incurred by PayPal to monitor and track violations, damage to PayPal's brand and reputation, and penalties imposed upon PayPal by its business partners, resulting from a user's violation. Considering I thought this was gone.
I thought the oopsie was gone. They didn't get rid of the oopsie. Awkward.
Oops, that's awkward. Oh, we left
That's
it in the memo.
oopsie.
We just went ahead and left it in. We were like, Bob, no, don't put that in the memo, and then Bob did, and we were just like, whatever, leave it in there. Why not?
You saw it here first, guys. It's not gone. It was a mistake.
It was,
and yet they have not deleted it yet.
This is on the PayPal site right now.
Oh boy!
I'm glad we found it. I'm glad we went to the source. See, guys, go to the source. You will find all kinds of good stuff when you go to the source.
That's so funny.
This is fucking insane.
It's an oopsie that they didn't.
It's still here.
Yeah, because
and they're gonna go back to it eventually. They just need to let everybody forget about it for a minute.
We left it
They're like, psych.
Psych again, bitches.
Psych. We'll pretend like we removed it, but we're gonna leave it in our PayPal policy. This is PayPal. Like, this is PayPal.com. Like, this is not this isn't the Daily Wire's article.
I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna get a fucking and what do you call it? It's a comment. I'm gonna get a comment on this because they're gonna ignore my call just like they did in Daily Wire. But still, maybe they won't. I'm independent, so maybe not. But
Just tell them you work
We'll
at
see.
the Fearlessly Authentic Network.
Yeah,
gonna try
Fearlessly Authentic Network is calling you. Maybe not. They'll be like, nuke. We're gonna nuke them now. This is nuts. I can't believe this is still fucking here.
I'll call for the super awkward fun cast. They won't know what the fuck that is.
I was like, what? Including but not limited to internal and administrative costs incurred by PayPal to monitor. Yeah, this is the fucking. This is it right here.
I guess
might wanna
my
take a
fucking-
Take a screenshot.
my tweet about our show tonight was very accurate, as it turns out, because I said it wasn't an actual oopsie in my description of this episode that we were going to talk about the PayPal censorship and the oopsie that wasn't a real oopsie. And yeah, it wasn't, because it's still fucking there. So
I wonder if anyone else is going to catch this.
That's crazy.
no, they're all talking about Ukraine, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody's on to something else now. They're like, oh, PayPal, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, from what I saw from the other article, it looked like people like they've gotten a lot of backlash of this, but you know, they say in the second article that they reversed this. So this is interesting. We'll have to see what that article says. Did the Daily Wire like miss this when they wrote the second article?
Yes, they probably just accepted what they said and didn't do their due diligence. Probably. I'm saying probably, allegedly, whatever.
We'll find out.
And then now here we are doing a fact check on Daily Wire.
I mean, this isn't really hard to. This is basics. This is basics.
This is journalism. This is going to the source. It's pretty simple.
Live. We just do it live.
Do it live. I told you I wanted to see where everything was and see if it was still there. So they hid it on their own website. That's super
Because it
strange.
wasn't on the PDF. We saw that.
So the PDF is gone, but this actual legit ass user agreement
This
still
is
there.
on PayPal's PayPal.com.
Couldn't be more obvious that this is the actual source.
Holy shit.
Okay, we have
Now-
something to say to you, Daily Wire. Why don't you give us a call?
I know, right?
Check out the email, Gmail, and
Yes.
get to us. Give us some credit.
What do you guys think in the chat about this?
Yeah. Do a
This is
follow-up.
crazy. They are not like.
I'll put it in. Give it to me in the private chat. It's in the private chat, right? And then I'll get it. Yeah. The user agreement. And then I'll
Yeah,
put it in.
I took a screenshot. I mean, it's on video, obviously, and I took a screenshot of it on my phone
right,
of
I'll put it
us
in.
showing it because I'm like, wait a minute here. What's happening?
It has been requested, and it will come at you right now live on the show. There you go. Enjoy.
Yeah.
That's the name.
And then, so let's see what the second Daily Wire article shows then. Now, I'm really curious to find out, you know, like what's going on here? Did they catch that? Because their headline said PayPal reverses the plan to fine users $2,500 for misinformation after Daily Wire report. And this is October 8th, 2022.
Oh, I think we
So-
have a wrench. We have to wrench Emma Louie.
Well,
have
yeah,
a new
we gotta
wrench.
get Emma Louie's address too.
Oh, yes. I need your address because you won.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying, Alex. It looks like she's doing it now. Do it live.
What am I doing?
Wrenching. You're wrenching live.
Yeah, I just did.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying what you're doing.
Yes.
I'm commenting.
Did it. Okay.
Wrenched.
So, yeah, I already wrenched her.
Yep, she's wrenched.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yay, wrenched.
Oh, okay.
Wrenched.
So,
Hmm?
this is the article. Now, is today the 8th? Or what's today?
Today's the 9th.
9th. So, this is yesterday.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I'm getting this all right. So, it was the day before yesterday that the Daily Wire wrote the other article that we just covered, and this one is from yesterday. And their headline says that PayPal reverses the plan to fine users $2,500 for misinformation after Daily Wire report. Okay. So a red-faced PayPal walked back after a shocking new policy announcement that users who advance misinformation could face fines of $2,500 for offense, saying it was a mistake after the Daily Wire called attention to their chilling scheme. Their chilling scheme is still in effect. We don't know what's happening because their chilling scheme is still in effect. What do you do? Need this?
Look
what are you doing?
Did.
Yes, this is what you need. Why would you tell me no? Oh my God. So the financial services company, which has repeatedly deplatformed organizations and individual commentators for their political views, announced Saturday, one day after Daily Wire's story broke, that the announcement went out in error. Well, it didn't. It's still there. We can toggle right back to it if we need to. And accept. Okay, Pages. I know we're very upset about this. What is happening?
He hates censorship.
He does. He's very against censorship. Say, we need to free Assange, huh? Okay.
He said, so that's good enough.
Yeah. Okay. It's because Steve left the room, so he's like, wait a minute here. Where's my Papa?
Yes,
Papa, he'll be right back.
Yes,
so the financial services company, which has repeatedly deflatformed organizations and individual commentators for their political views, announced Saturday, one day after the Wire story broke, that the announcement went out in error. Well, it didn't just go out in error; it was published. We just showed that.
Oopsie. Somebody got fired.
Yeah. An accepted use policy notice recently went out in error that included incorrect information. A PayPal spokesperson said PayPal is not fining people for misinformation, and its language was never intended to be inserted into our policy. We're sorry for the confusion this has caused. Wait a minute.
I'm still confused, though.
They're just like, we didn't mean to release that. Like, that's like our internal document. Like, this is what we do. So this is a tweet that's in the article from Candace Owens, and she says, just moved all money I had in my PayPal account out of it. I very much suggest you do the same. This is serious. They are delaying the transfer pending review for 12 hours, but at least it's done. PayPal is dead. What?
Well, it's been dead, though, babe. Babe, it's been dead. It's been dead for so long.
Well, why did she have to cover up how much money she had in there? Why did she cover that up?
None of our business. None of our business.
But the other part is.
Yeah, everything else is important. The virtue signaling is important. That's all that matters.
The original announcement said PayPal would expand its existing list of prohibited activities on November 3rd. I wonder what it said before. You know, like, when did that exactly change? I don't go back and like look at, you know what I mean? Like PayPal in particular, like their user, like I don't have it memorized, you know? The original announcement said PayPal would expand its existing list of prohibited activities on November 3rd. Among the charges were changes. Oh my God.
Nobody's charged yet. Oh, God.
Among the changes were provisions using the platform for sending, posting, or publication of any messages, content, or materials that promote misinformation or present a risk to user safety or well-being. Users were also barred under the policy from the promotion of hate, violence, racial, or other forms of intolerance that is discriminatory.
This is good because I can add to this. You know how I mentioned the send money to family and friends? That's probably connected to this because they wanted you to have transactions on their website. And the only way that they could ensure that they could have these censorship rules and everything and know all your business and shit is so you wouldn't even have that as an option of sending family sending money to family or friends, which is not an option. I will say for me and for my roommate, I can't speak for everyone else in the fucking world, but they don't even give you that option. And that's on purpose because they want to know what's going on with you.
You have to
They want
remember,
to have an invoice.
they tax us on the money that we earn, when we spend it, when we send it to other people. Like, this is insane.
This is credit scores. This is social credit score systems. This is how it's implemented. Slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley.
So before posting its initial story, the Daily Wire reached out to PayPal for definitions of the added terms, but received no response. I wonder how long of a period they gave them. You know what I mean? Like, how long did they give them before they responded back? The report sparked outrage online, with many people tweeting pledges to dump the online payment facilitator. Particularly chilling was the fact that the policy said determinations of what could be deemed misinformation or a threat to the well-being of other users was to be at the sole discretion of PayPal. The now aborted policy said users could be liable for damages, including the removal of $2,500 debited directly from their PayPal account per offense. But we just showed, wait a minute, pretty sure that we just showed that they still have that $2,500 in there.
Yeah, I have it right here still.
If
you are a seller and receive funds for transactions that violate the acceptable use policy, then in addition to being subject to the above actions, you will be liable to PayPal for the amount of PayPal's damages caused by your violation of the acceptable use policy. You acknowledge and agree that $2,500 US dollars per violation of the acceptable use policy is presently a reasonable minimum estimate of PayPal's actual damages, including but not limited to internal administrative costs incurred by PayPal to monitor and track violations, damage to PayPal's brand and reputation, and penalties imposed upon PayPal by its business partners resulting from a user's violation. Considering all currently existing circumstances, including the relationship of the sum to the range of harm to PayPal that reasonably could be anticipated, because due to the nature of the violations of the acceptable use policy, actual damages would be impractical or extremely difficult to calculate. PayPal may deduct such damages directly from an existing balance in any PayPal account you control. If we close your PayPal account or terminate your use of the PayPal services for any reason, we'll just provide you with notice of our actions and make any unrestricted funds held in the balance of your balance account linked to your personal account or in the balance of your business account, or any money waiting to be claimed through your personal account if you do not have a balance account linked to your personal account available for withdrawal. You are responsible for all reversals, chargebacks, claims, fees, fines, penalties, and other liability incurred by PayPal, any PayPal customer, or a third party caused by or arising out of your breach of this agreement and or your use of the PayPal services. So it says in there, it doesn't even say the debit card thing. It says directly from any existing balance in any PayPal account you control. So they did change the wording. Sure. It is different.
Not not the way that the Daily Wire is making it sound like. And they're making it sound like, oh no, they didn't mean to do that at all. But they never intended it. They don't do that. But they do. It's under their policy right now. Oh, man. So they go on to say, under existing law, PayPal has the ability as a private company, of course, to implement this type of viewpoint discriminatory policy. Aaron Tur, a senior program officer at the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression, told the Daily Wire, whatever motivation PayPal has for establishing these vague new categories of prohibited expression, they almost certainly have a severe chilling effect on the user's speech, as often the case with ill-defined and viewpoint discriminatory speech codes. Basically censorship. Like, I mean, like how viewpoint discriminatory speech codes, what the fuck? Those with unpopular or minority viewpoints will likely bear the brunt of these restrictions. The announcement and reversal comes days after PayPal canceled 3 accounts linked to Toby Young, a commentator who runs a nonprofit. We talked about this in the first one too. So they are repeating this in the second article.
Yeah, it seems like a retread. The rest,
but yeah.
It's the same. We can't. Yeah. We don't need to go through that again. We already read it. You get the point, guys.
Yeah, they just said whatever PayPal's intention may be, censorship and chilling free speech is precisely the effect of these kind of vaguely worded policies. Yep, this is exactly. So they took the same first article and they just kind of updated it, but this is not okay.
But we updated it even more. So look at us, breaking news, breaking news on this and. Some racism soon. Speaking of the racial stuff. Hey, Miguel. Good to have you. Weird science.
Just putting this in our notes.
We got a lot of notes, guys.
Yeah. After the show, I always have to take all the links that we provide for the show and I put them together and then I save them. And then Steve, usually the next day, he goes and he puts all those links into our show notes. He's supposed
to. You guys are going to be really upset about the next story, but I'm trying. As you should, though. We should all be upset about hypocrisy.
Well, that bothers me because it's like it is. I mean, the Daily Wire, are they just not completely?
Oh, I meant okay.
What are they missing on this? Yeah, well, I mean, what? I don't know exactly what wording. I'd have to really look at it side by side and try to examine it. But
no, I literally just looked at it, and it's the debit card thing isn't in there. It's the balance in the account, so they changed that. Breaking news.
They didn't go back on everything. They did not go back on the whole thing, the whole user agreement.
We didn't say anything about a debit card. Whatever. We deleted the PDF. Leave us alone. It doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. It's the balance. What are you going to do?
I mean, I don't. This is nuts. And that was PayPal's their very own. Make sure that you guys check out the user agreements on these cards and things like that. It's a lot of information. It's a lot to read. And they don't give us many choices. It's not like we get a lot of options when it comes to this kind of thing. It's not like, oh yeah, there's just so many options for us to use to transfer money. No, not when PayPal.
I'm call them tomorrow.
And PayPal and Venmo are the same company. And they're related to Facebook and Instagram.
And then there's Cashapp, which is Twitter. So good luck with that. Which Elon will probably eventually. No, he won't. Jack owns it, I think. So formerly Twitter, I should say. But Jack was CIA adjacent, so I don't really trust Jack very much, even if he left. We'll see what Jack does. I'll see how he does. If he makes any big moves.
All right.
I'll reassess how I feel about Jack.
I don't trust any of these motherfuckers.
Well, I'm waiting to see. I'm being fair. Let's see how he goes. How he does in his afterlife. So speaking of horrific shit that we have to talk about, this one really gets my goat because it's the amount of people who are oh my gosh, clutching their pearls about this horrible conversation that happened between these LA City Council members in LA in a recorded conversation that was leaked online by guess who? LA Times, who supports Julian Assange, of course, or they did in 2019. Circa 2019, they really came out in support of Julian Assange. So a broken clock is right twice a day. But most of the time, they're wrong on shit. But this time, they're right again. And they have leaked this audio and had said that, yes, it's against the law, but it's newsworthy, so we don't give a fuck. So they pulled in a Julian Assange themselves and leaked this audio. So this audio is not specifically in this article. We're going to get to it in the next one because, oh my gosh. But I want to have the 1 hour audio because there's supposed to be an hour-long conversation of this leaked on Reddit, which was immediately deleted because acceptable use, I guess, on Reddit, because Reddit's been doing that for a while as well. Cutting down on people sharing certain information. Yeah. And have you even heard about the thing with Ghislaine Maxwell was allegedly had an account on Reddit and had a relationship with the Reddit CEO? Like, there's a whole bunch of shit.
No! Are we going to have to do a Reddit show?
Yeah, Reddit, they have their own issues. So, anywho, Nuri Martinez is the president of our LA City Council, which I didn't vote on any of these people. So I can say whatever I want about these people because I didn't vote on anyone. I did vote on someone who was mentioned. I voted for them stupidly. And then they ended up going with her on the fucking the vaccine mandate, which was horrific for our county. And then they eventually not overturned it, but got rid of it and took it off the table for now, and then brought it back on the table for later. But I made a public comment that's on the record about that on that day, that they should get rid of it entirely, and that's where I stood. So anyway, that was a racist, if you recall, the amount of people who were not getting injected, I'm going to tread lightly here, were the amount that were not getting it were
Lisa,
people who are not white, I'll say. So Latino and Black, mainly. Majority Black and Latino people were rejecting getting injected.
Because there's a history that most people forget. Exactly. The Tuskegee experiments and just, like the people that have been most oppressed and been stepped on over and over again. I know, Peaches, it's upsetting. It is. I agree with you.
Basically, they were being punished and segregated against, and I was against it from the very beginning because of the segregation aspect of it, as well as the human rights violation that I saw in it, which is there. And also it didn't work, and they had to call it a failure and get rid of it. But anyway, people didn't comply. People were upset. Businesses were not playing along, and then they eventually shelved it. So basically, they had that for, I don't know if it was a year, but it was a long fucking time. Until October of last year, I believe, they had the vaccine mandate. And it was a long not even October. It was earlier this year, I think, that they got rid of it. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was a long time that they had it. And these motherfuckers voted for it and were majority for it, and then eventually got rid of it. So just keep in mind that they already were racist as fuck before this happened, because that was targeting minority people in LA. So whatever they say here, this is what they're saying. This is what they say behind closed doors to each other about each other, but they did worse to the city. So just keep that in mind. So let's get to the article. No more dilly-dallying, and see what LA Times says here. So they say 3 Latino members. Oh, shit. I hate when you go to any website and it automatically wants to fucking sign you in on Google, and it's I don't even go here. Leave me alone. Why do you have to do that for it's like Facebook? When they would try to sign you in on everything.
It's like signing in with Google. It's I don't even want to use Google.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, 3 Latino members of the LA City Council and a top county labor official held a conversation last fall that included racist remarks. This was while the vaccine mandate was going on, by the way. So they were already being actively racist in the community without these words. So anyway, but words. So that included racist remarks, derisive statements about their colleagues, and council president Nuri Martinez saying a white councilman handled his young black son as though he were an accessory, according to a recording of the meeting reviewed by the Times. Martinez, while discussing Councilman Mike Bonin's child, said, "Parece chanquito, or he's like a monkey," soon afterward.
Oh my
A
God.
few minutes, yes. Worse than that. Well, here's some of the audio. It's a doozy. After the article. So a few minutes after Martinez discussed Bonin's son, the topic of conversation moved to LA County District Attorney George Gascon, who was facing growing political opposition. "Fuck that guy," she said, followed by something inaudible. "He's with the blacks." You'll get to hear that. Don't worry, we're gonna listen to it. Don't you? I got you guys. We'll go to a different website.
Fuck.
It's insane,
I've never
girl.
spoken like that that way in my life.
And she again, this proves that it's not like a racist white racist kind of ideology, that anyone can have those perceptions about other people in any ethnicity, you know? During the conversation with council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon and Los Angeles County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera, Martinez also described Bonin at one point as a little bitch, which is not even the worst thing she said. Like that's nothing compared to the other things she said. Like nothing. De Leon appeared to compare Bonin's handling of his child to Martinez holding a Louis Vuitton handbag. He also referred to Bonin as the council's fourth black member. Mike Bonin won't fucking ever say peep about Latinos. He'll never say a fucking word about us, he said. On Sunday, after this article was published online, Martinez issued a statement apologizing for her comments, saying, "In a moment of intense frustration and anger, I let the situation get the best of me, and I hold myself accountable for these comments. For that, I am sorry." The context
You hold yourself accountable? Wait a minute.
Oh, now context matters too, of course.
Like, he's like, I hold myself accountable. You don't need to hold me accountable. I'll just hold myself accountable because that's what got me saying these fucking awful things. It's like, what the
Okay, then she says the context of this conversation was concern over the redistricting process and concern about the potential negative impact it might have on communities of color. That word. My work speaks for itself. I've worked hard to lead the city through its most difficult time. You suck at it. And also, nobody talks this way at work. Not me. Like I'm a little more professional.
I've never spoken that way.
I never say racial epithets to people at work. You just don't do that.
For anyone
It's
in
not a thing you
general.
do.
Like in general, like I've never spoken that way. I don't think that way. I don't speak that way. So I definitely wouldn't speak that way in a professional setting. Like,
It's insane. Then you should be focused on redistricting process and not people's children and shit and calling people's children names. Like, maybe don't do that. Just at work. Maybe not. Also on Sunday, De Leon called the comments wholly inappropriate and said he had fallen short of the expectations we set for our leaders. Don't worry, I don't have any expectations for you. I never voted for any of you. I regret appearing to condone and even contribute to certain insensitive comments made about a colleague and his family in private, he said in a statement. I've reached out to that colleague personally. And now you're talking about him publicly. Good for you. Cedillo, contacted Saturday night by the Times, said, "I don't have a recollection of this conversation." Well, yeah, it was months ago. Why would you remember it? But also, you shouldn't fucking say it. Herrera didn't respond to several requests to comment, but Julie Gutman, Dickinson, a lawyer representing the LA County Federation of Labor, sent a letter saying the conversation was recorded in violation of California's privacy and recording laws on LA County Federation of Labor Property. If the Times published information from it, it's condoning this illegal conduct. Apparently, she didn't get the memo that they supported Julian Assange because they don't give a shit. Times General
What the fuck? They think, so it's okay because that's why she felt free enough to speak there, because she thought that it wouldn't be able to be legally recorded? It wouldn't hold up? Like, that would be your defense?
Times General Counsel Jeffrey Glasser responded to Gutman Dickinson in a letter Sunday morning defending the newspaper's right to publish the material. It is a fundamental principle in the United States that we do not prohibit or punish the receipt and publication of newsworthy information, Glasser wrote. The conversation took place in October 2021 and focused heavily on council members' frustration with maps that had been proposed by the city's 21-member redistricting commission. Latino residents make up roughly half of LA's population, but represent less than a third of the council's districts, a fact that has led to complaints that the population is not being fairly represented. Audio of the wide-ranging, roughly hour-long conversation was posted on Reddit, there it is, by a now suspended user. It is unclear who recorded the audio, who uploaded it to Reddit, and whether anyone else was present. The leak comes a month before, look at the timing, a consequential city election in which the mayor and several council seats are being contested. Martinez has endorsed several council candidates in the November 8th election, which is going to be nothing now. And their fate, I read late because I'm blind. Okay, could determine whether she retains the powerful council presidency. Wow, it happens, but when you actually hear it, it's unbelievable. The now suspended Reddit user said in text accompanying the audio, according to a screenshot reviewed by the Times. The labor movement is in bed with City Hall. The group discussed the city's once-a-decade process of redrawing council district boundaries, which was underway at the time, as well as the need to re-elect Latinos council members and ensure that heavily Latino districts did not lose economic assets such as USC and Van Nuys Airport. This is a fucking game with these fucking people. They're all in high school. It's ridiculous. Bonin's son was brought into the conversation as the group discussed a dispute between council members Curran Price and Marquise Harris Dawson, who were at odds last year over whose district would represent USC and Exposition Park once the new maps were finalized. Both men are Black and represent parts of South LA. Martinez told the group she had a conversation with businessman Danny Bakewell about the situation and argued that if Harris Dawson was seeking an economic asset for his district, that he should seek to move LA International Airport out of Bonin's West Side district and into his. Go get the airport from his little brother, that little bitch Bonin, she recalled advising.
Who the fuck talks like that in a professional setting?
You'll hear. We're getting to the audio. Don't worry.
We're not professionals here on this show. We talk how we want because we have freedom of speech. But like, what the fuck is happening?
It's just human decency as well. So anyway, Martinez said that Bonin appeared with his son on a float in a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade that featured a number of politicians. She also said the child was an accessory. De Leon seemed to compare Bonin's handling of the child to when Nuri brings her little yard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag. And I'm not going to read that one. Like on the side, she said something racist, using a Spanish diminutive term for a Black person that can be considered demeaning. I would say so.
What the fuck? How does everyone else that was around this woman allow her to speak this way without speaking up and standing up and saying, hello, no, this is wrong? I wouldn't allow that.
They talk that way too, apparently. Martinez suggested the child was misbehaving on the float. Oh, this part. Y'all got to listen. You're going to listen to it. Don't worry. And I'm going to let's scroll down because we're going to listen to it. So we don't want to spoil ourselves. But anyway, in an interview Saturday night, go to that part if you're still looking at it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to skip that part because we're going to read it later. Where am I? Okay. Not PayPal. Forgot where it was. Okay. There I am. Okay. In an interview Saturday night, Bonin said he attended the MLK parade in 2017 with his young son and was angry and heartsick over the remarks. On Sunday, he and his husband, Sean Arian, called on Martinez, De Leon, and Herrera to resign. The entirety of the recorded conversation displayed a repeated and vulgar anti-Black sentiment and a coordinated effort to weaken Black political representation in LA, they said in a statement. Any parent reading her comments will know she is unfit for public office, they said of Martinez. No child should ever be subjected to such racist, mean, and dehumanizing comments, especially from a public official. It is painful to know he will someday read these comments. At another point in the conversation, the group discussed Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas' indictment and whether he should step down or fight to hold on to his seat, whether he would do that. A few minutes later, she said she explained to another council member that if he were to be suspended, City Controller Ron Galperin would decide whether he still gets paid. You need to go talk to that white guy. It's not us. It's the white members on this council that will motherfuck you in a heartbeat is what I think it says. The council later suspended Ridley Thomas, who is awaiting trial on a federal bribery charge. That's what we're dealing with here, guys.
Wait, can I just ask something real quick? Okay. So right here in this, where they say mother F dash, instead of putting motherfuck you in a heartbeat, how does it, like, we know what it said, we know what that means.
Yeah.
If we can say mother F, how come we can't say motherfuck? How come we can't say the actual word? Like,
it's also
really
stupid.
It's a quote.
If a child is reading this, by the way, they shouldn't be, because like it's very inappropriate for children.
Yeah, this is not appropriate for children. But I'm just like
that's why I don't agree.
It's quoted. You know what I mean? If you're quoting something that is said, then you know you should quote it.
They can say the N-word before. They can't do that. Okay, not that N-word, but the other one. You know, they were saying. Anyway. The group heavily criticized the maps created by the city's redistricting commission. Martinez voiced frustration that the panel had proposed removing a number of economic assets from her San Fernando Valley district, including the Van Nuys Airport and the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. If you're going to talk about Latino districts, what kind of districts are you trying to create? Again, she sees everything. They see everything in like Latino this and everything else. Fuck that, right? So that's a lot of racism going on because you're taking away our assets. You're just going to create poor Latino districts with nothing. At another point, Cedillo
like
said
things should just be fair in general. It shouldn't be about
right.
You know, like a race or this or that. We should not be exploiting people.
They're trying to get votes. They're exploiting these people for votes, and it's very clear in their audio when you hear it for yourself. There's no other conclusion. But Cedillo said there were certain council members who did not merit rescuing. So we'll get to that later. That's going to be on the audio, so don't worry about that. So going down. Let's go down to the end. So basically it ends here. Herrera, the labor official, later said that removing Ridley Thomas was necessary regardless of potential political blowback, arguing the scandal would hurt all incumbents and make people think that the council's corrupt. Who would think that? Why would we want to?
Wait, where did you go?
That's the end. Herrera, the part. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to spoil ourselves because we got to listen to that audio. It's insane. And it's pretty clear in the next article that you'll see that we'll be able to preface it and everything. So, okay.
This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
racism from any aspect in any way is it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
If they do put someone in, that person has to support the three of you, he said. The one who will support us is Heather Hutt. Oh, yeah, that's in the audio too, but we're listening to it. De Leon then floated nonprofit director Irma R. Munoz as a possible replacement for Ridley Thomas, noting that she's married to an African American and she lives up in Baldwin Hills. Last month, the council voted to install Hutt as Ridley Thomas' interim replacement. And this was written by staff writers Gustavo Arellano, and Brittany Mejia, contributing to the report. And the original authors are David Zanizer, Julia Wick, Benjamin Oreskes, Dakota Smith, Gustavo Arellano. 6 hours ago. So this is breaking news today. So
yeah, people's comments down here, people are just completely shocked.
Yeah, but again, these are people who are like clutching my pearls about this, but don't care about segregating. Some people, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of them.
Not everybody, but yeah, there's not enough. There's not enough equal outrage. Like we have equal outrage. We're outraged about the things that should be outraged.
Words, not actions. You know, words versus actions. That's where we live. So I put in the new article. I'll put that in the chat as well. Am I having an echo? Because I have sort of one for me, but I don't know if it's for
no,
you,
not for me.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I think you would have told me at some point. Let me put the article. I have the non-paywall one, which is the news break. That's why I put news break in there, guys, because LA Times is paywall. Oh, it's really long. I can't put it in. That's what she said. I'm inclusive. Anyway. Does anyone ever get my inclusive jokes? I can't. I don't know if they do. Do you get it, Steve?
Yeah.
I'm inclusive? All right. I am.
I think I wrenched Lisa. I know you guys were saying to wrench Lisa. I wrenched Lisa. Does everybody have wrenches now? Everybody got wrench?
Let's hear them for what they are. We can't just read it. We have to hear it. I had to hear it. So I did my due diligence. I looked on Twitter and I said, LA City Council audio, leaked audio, and I found it on Knock LA. Or maybe I should share it so I can play all the audio. I don't want you to have to do everything.
Well, do you want to do it? It doesn't matter to me. If you know where to I haven't. This is all news to me. This is breaking to me too. So
actually, I can't share. It's not. Oh, present. It says present now.
Yeah.
They changed. Okay.
Yeah, they changed it in the StreamYard.
I'm presenting it. All right, let me present it then. At least in the council members. There we go. So we can hear the stuff. You know, the things they're saying. The racist shit. All right, so where am I? There I am.
Yep. Okay. So you're in control of it completely. That will probably just be easier.
Okay, Council President. I love the picture they chose too. Council President Martinez on DA Gascon. Fuck that guy. He's with the blacks. Yep, that's their headline.
Wow, that is a strong headline.
Earlier this month, an anonymous Reddit account posted several shocking audio recordings. The recordings seem to contain the voices of council. Come on now. They have already admitted it, but all right. Council President Nuri Martinez, Council members Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo, and LA Labor Federation President Ron Herrera, discussing a wide range of topics of great public interest and being incredibly racist while doing so. The account and those files have since been deleted. Cedillo, Herrera, Martinez, and De Leon did not respond to requests for comments. This was probably the first article. They were trying to get ahead or whatever. and then get the audio out. So here's what they say. This is all going to be contextless because we do not have the 1 hour audio. If I did, I would want it immediately, but I do not have access to it. So
yeah, maybe we'll be able to eventually get it.
There's context here that we don't have access to that somehow makes this okay. But let's listen to it anyways.
All the, folks like with us going. He did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
I haven't. I just said, hey, we need to talk.
Guilt supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you. So you'll start seeing him line up.
He's with the blacks.
Isaac was the first.
He's with the blacks, so you heard that.
Holy fuck.
And then in the recording, the council president says of him, fuck that guy, he's with the blacks. And then there's this one. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece Jengi. Well, here it goes.
Whatever the kid's name is, I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float. And then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God.
And then there's worse parts of that part when this happens.
They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para acá.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow it gets worse. It gets worse every audio.
So anyways, getting back to redistricting.
Getting back to what we're talking about. Let's get back to the topic. And then it gets worse. It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but.
And then the orange shoes.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all, right, and the future.
Yep.
But we got to figure out Mark's seat too.
Mm-hmm.
That benefits you three.
Is if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or might not be suspended, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think if he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away.
You mean resign, not suspended?
No,
You're right, I think, yeah, there is a difference.
If I may.
If he resigns, hold on, if he resigns and the
Let her
African
finish.
Americans look at this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we'll have to figure that shit out because politically they're gonna come after him.
Yeah, but can I say something right now? And this is what I call ¿cómo se llama this guy? The movie, the Wizard of Oz effect.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by the Wizard of Oz effect is when you're at the side of the curtain, it's like this big voice.
Yeah.
It sounds big. It sounds like there's owls or something. And then when you actually pull the curtain, is that you see the little Wizard of Oz. Yeah. You know what?
I've never watched the movie.
It's the same thing.
All right.
It's real simple. You got 100 people, right? 52 of them are Mexicanos. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are black.
25 blacks are shouting.
But they shout like there were 250. Yeah. Well, there's 100 of us. They're like, it sounds like
Wow. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, gross.
This is awful.
Yeah. Here we go.
If somebody slides in, right, temporary or however you do it, right, that person has to support the three of you. It has to support the three of you. And
you know who wants to offer that seat?
Yeah, I do.
No, is it?
I ain't gonna support that right there. Bridget was over there with Karen. After he was fucking swinging his ass off. The one who will support us is Heather.
Yes.
Doesn't this just remind you of high school though? Like legit, like they sound like children to me.
No one spoke like that, like around me at least, or
No, not the racism, but like the politics of it. Like, it's
oh
very
yeah, yeah. Their mentality is very immature. It's like, and then you mix in on top of it all the racism and how they're talking about other people as
this is
if
bad too.
like as if they're less than because because of the race. Like, this doesn't make, oh my god, this is so disgusting.
It's superiority. They have a superiority complex. Okay, so then also,
Yeah, like there's a hierarchy, and you know what I mean, like,
yeah, we're the better colored people, right? Colored people, that's what they would, they're implying,
they have to oppress somebody, right? I guess I don't know.
Right. Could you not outside? Thank you. Bye. So then the next part is very telling. Herrera tells Martinez, De Leon, and Cedillo that they must maneuver the appointment of city council seat to someone who supports them. After De Leon rejects his initial suggestion, they seem to agree on Heather Hutt. Following a controversial process, Hutt was appointed the council member for Council District 10 in September of this year. So then here at the end, it's Martinez, Cedillo, and De Leon come to agree on aggressively gerrymandering. This is mine. They mentioned mine, the one that I voted for that I regretted. Nitya Raman from my council, from my district, at the end. Here we go.
So there's certain people who don't merit like us rescuing them.
Mm-hmm.
Your comadre, right?
I'm not arguing with you about that.
I know who you know.
¿Quién es tu comadre? Who's your comadre? Nitya. Nitya. She doesn't merit, right?
But it's
She's not our ally. She's not gonna help us. Her district is not a district we can count on. You're saying that's the one to put in the blender and chop up, right?
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
That's how they talk about people. I'm going to put it in the chat, ladies and gents. It's not a really long one. That's what I'm dealing with in my district, in my city. And yeah, she's not much better because of her vaccine passport stance that she had. And she was all on board with Martinez back then. She was like, Nuri, I love you and everything, and these tweets. Do you still love Nuri Martinez? Was that worth it? Was it worth it, Nydia? I don't think so.
Wow.
They will stab you right in the back.
That's crazy.
Politics. What are you going to do?
I have to step off the camera just for a minute. I'll be right back. Steve?
Should I go to Weird Science?
Sure. Steve will be here.
I'm here.
She got to pee, probably. All right, we can look at a video about Weird Science because this was in the news recently, and then I guess it popped up back in the news, but it's in the news again now, and so I'll let us look at this dystopian bullshit. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. New topic, Weird Science. Let's get to it. I'm going to screen share again. Or present. Feels so fancy presenting. I haven't seen this, so let's watch it together. Yay. It's a minute long, so that's perfect.
This study shows that you can use a special device that we have made and special media that allows to grow natural mouse embryos. So we use the same system, and we can put stem cells that are grown in the dish for a long time. We can put them in this condition, and they self-organize alone over 8 days into a whole embryo. Will be focusing on taking.
Oh, can y'all even hear that? Oh shit! Sorry. Hold on.
Let's say I'm a patient, I need
I don't think it worked.
and take a biopsy.
My bad.
Make stem cell
I don't even know if you could hear that. You couldn't see it. My bad. I guess I needed help there.
Yes. Let's try that again.
Okay.
All right. So you were sharing a thing?
Yeah, this thing, this thing.
All right. So now, hold on. I'll add it to the thing. And now
Sorry about that, guys.
Now it should
I didn't
work.
know that they had to do that shit. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay. We do it live. Okay. Here we go.
Live.
The study shows that you can use a special device that we have made and special media that allows to grow natural mouse embryos. We use the same system, and we can put stem cells that are grown in the dish for a long time. We can put them in these conditions, and they self-organize alone over 8 days into a whole embryo. We'll be focusing on taking stem cells, skin cells from a patient. Let's say I'm a patient, I need liver cells, and take a biopsy, make stem cells in the dish.
Could you mute
grow
it?
them in special
Mute your side.
condition and put them in this device for about 20 days, and they will make organized structure, which we call synthetic embryos. And they have cell progenitors, including liver progenitors or blood progenitors. And we can take these cells maybe and transplant them back to the patient.
Maybe we can do that. Let's see. So yeah, so that's just like the beginning of this topic, which is pretty crazy.
What did I miss? Are we making are we making clones of Drew?
Shall we look at it again? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's watch it again, everybody. Third time's a charm.
Sorry, I missed it.
No, it's interesting shit because I read about it recently, but this is from 2 months ago, this video, so it's kind of old news that popped back up in the timeline.
The study shows that you can use a special device that we have made and special media that allows to grow natural mouse embryos. So use the same system.
Always mice.
We can put stem cells that are grown in the dish for a long time. We can put them in these conditions, and they self-organize alone over 8 days into a whole embryo.
It's all for human organs, guys.
We'll be focusing on taking stem cells, skin cells from a patient. Let's say I'm a patient.
Stem cells and then skin cells.
And take a biopsy, make stem cells in the dish, grow them in special condition, and put them in this device for about 20 days. And they will make organized structure, which we call synthetic embryos. And they have cell progenitors, including liver progenitors or blood progenitors. And we can take these cells maybe and transplant them back to the patient.
Maybe we can do it. Let's find out. Stop it. Stop. Shut up. Okay. So we've heard it a couple of times now. But guys, that's what we're doing. That's what the weird science is about, getting into it. But I just did some more research on this topic. Today, I told Lucky today that I looked up embryo in because I'm set to where I can put in a search item in my phone, and it goes automatically to search it for Brave private search. So I have that, and then when I put in certain words, they will autofill every once in a while, and I put embryos, and there's a website for that because I found this website of this organization that was kind of interesting. Let's see, where is that? did I find that? Did I put it here? Damn it. I guess I didn't find it in my... Okay, I gotta get it from our conversation. I thought I got it. I did not. No, that would be here, because this is our conversation. Okay. We'll do it live. All right.
Yeah, Seb said we cloned sheep. Yeah, and now they're doing CRISPR gene editing on all these animals. Also, I covered that on an episode.
Got it.
A little while back too, where they're gene editing. They're doing all these things, and they don't really know what's happening.
Right. CRISPR and all that shit. All right, I'm gonna share the screen or present it. Okay, so this is what I found, and this is the About page. So we'll just talk about the About page. So this is the Embryo Project Encyclopedia. I just randomly found this by searching embryo and not even trying to find it. Recording and contextualizing the science of embryos, development, and reproduction. Can you see it? Let's see. Yeah.
Kind of. It's small. It's
Yeah,
really small. Like, I can't read that.
Oh,
not on StreamYard.
Ruined it. There we go. Okay. Is it bigger? That's what she said. Okay. She tried to make it bigger, but she couldn't.
She did. She made it bigger.
She endeavored.
Okay.
She made it bigger.
She was successful.
She'll make it even bigger.
That's what she said.
Oh, look at that. Now I can read it.
That's what he said.
Sexy one. Okay. The Embryo Project Encyclopedia is a digital and open access publication of the Embryo Project. Begun in 2007, the Encyclopedia and the Embryo Project are funded by the U.S. National Science Foundation, weird science, in Washington, D.C., and by the Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. The Embryo Project is a collection of researchers who study the historical and social contexts of developmental and reproductive biology. Embryo Project researchers pursue three broad goals. This really stood out to me. It's interesting. They work to communicate with inclusive audiences, there's that word again, about reproductive medicine, developmental biology, and embryology. They also research those sciences with historical and computational methods. Finally, they develop university classes and programs in which students can learn and employ those methods to make products of lasting value. Most Embryo Project researchers work at Arizona State, but some work in Canada, Australia, and in several countries in Europe. Since 2007, hundreds of scholars and researchers have participated in the Embryo Project. The Embryo Project Encyclopedia publishes the highest quality work from Embryo Project researchers. The encyclopedia aims to show readers how to think scientifically, how to identify evidence, how to generate it from experiments, how to relate it to theories, and how to change beliefs and revise theories in light of new evidence. The encyclopedia also aims to show readers how societal contexts influence people as they evaluate evidence and theories. To pursue those goals, items published in the encyclopedia use historical narratives to show how people pursue and interpret science, how science is part of society, and how society is part of science.
Sorry.
Within the encyclopedia, you can find hundreds of descriptive articles about reproductive medicine, developmental biology, and embryology. You can also find thousands of subjects such as photographs, microscope slides, and videos. Next, you can find dozens of items such as animations, graphics, and timelines that help users visualize topics. Finally, with EP essays, users can find longer articles that help them interpret and apply the history of reproductive medicine, developmental biology, and embryology. All items published in the encyclopedia receive rigorous peer and editorial reviews. The descriptive articles in the encyclopedia are written, peer-reviewed, and edited to be factual, non-evaluative, and, when possible, to connect users to open access versions of scientific and governmental documents which enable users to verify the claims in the articles. Published EP essays receive scholarly peer review, the same process used by research journals. Finally, all items are archived according to Dublin Core Metadata Standards. And then it says some more stuff. So yeah, that's what this website is all about. And then you can like browse stuff by topic. So let's see what the topics are. So student training at the Embryo Project, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act 1975, Americans with Disabilities Act 1990, The Role of Urethra in Female Orgasm 1950 by Ernst Grafenberg. Okay.
What?
More recent content. Go there.
Yeah, like what? That.
Yeah, it has all these.
What does the American Disabilities Act have to do with the embryos?
Well, it says here, in 1990, United States Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, which prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities by employers, governments, or public accommodations. Following gains made during the civil rights movements of the 1900s, people with disabilities sought similar anti-discrimination legislation. The ADA was the culmination of decades of protest and advocacy from the disability rights movement. After the ADA, federal law protected people with an impairment that limited major life functions like sight or mobility from discrimination. The ADA changed the lives of millions of Americans with disabilities by expanding the opportunities they had to work, travel, and participate in their communities, legally protected from discrimination. Again,
yeah, I mean,
related.
I know what the
It's
American
not really related though. Like, how
yeah,
is that
I'm like,
related to
okay, like, because that's the same act that protects me, you know, like I am a disabled person, I have a service dog, so you know, I mean, I know what the law is, but I'm like, what does that have to do with embryos? I just don't understand. There's no like, there's like, they're just like, we'll just throw this in here. This looks good.
What's
we'll
the
just.
correlation?
I don't understand.
Ethics. Ethics. What do they know about ethics?
Miguel said that some people have cloned their dead pets. That's weird. Like, I understand the grieving process and you know, like wanting that to not be the case, but you're fucking with shit. Like, you're fucking with shit. You know? Yeah, Pet Sematary is a movie that you know, the author of it. Yeah.
Here's the stem cell part. Like, I just looked that up to see what
I mean, and I think there are some really good ways that they could be using this stuff. They could be using, you know what I mean, this research in positive ways, but the ethical part of it, I think, is what is quite often like it's not there. The ethics for it aren't there. Like, we need to really be having larger conversations about whether things are or not ethical, and what are the possible outcomes, and how, you know what I mean, what's going to happen, what's going to be preventative to make sure that certain outcomes don't happen. But they don't. They just fucking do it, and then they're like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, well, this one's, I looked up stem cell because that's what we're talking about, and the mouse embryo and everything, and I found induced pluripotent stem cells by Catherine Brindamore, published 2010, 5/6, and then it has this handy dandy chart with the mouse embryo, because again, everything is with mice. They're just like us, apparently. Editor's note, Madeline Howell-Moroney created the above image for this article. You can find the full image and all relevant information here. Very helpful. So iPSCs, or induced pluripotent stem cells, are cells derived from non-pluripotent cells, such as adult somatic cells that have been genetically manipulated so as to return to an undifferentiated pluripotent state. Research on iPSCs, stay with me, initiated by Shinya Yamanaka in 2006 and extended by James Thompson in 2007 has so far revealed, this is from 2010, remember, is it 2010? I have to make sure. Yes. Okay. So, has so far revealed the same properties as embryonic stem cells, ESCs, making their discovery potentially very beneficial for scientists and ethicists alike. By avoiding the destruction of embryos and the complicated technique and resource requirements of ESCs, iPSCs may prove more practical and attractive than ESC research in the study of pluripotent stem cells. Yamanaka and his team were able to revert the differentiated cells to a pluripotent stage by using a retrovirus to insert specific genes known to be active in ESCs into the cell's genome. Originally performed with mouse cells by Yamanaka and his team at Japan's Kyoto University, both Yamanaka's group and James Thompson's research team at University of Wisconsin-Madison extended the technique to human somatic cells in November of 2007. A variety of genes and gene families have been identified as key components of a successful induction to the pluripotent state. And then it says more scientific shit. Okay, unlike ESCs, iPSCs do not require embryos or even eggs. Interesting, because it's kind of on topic, right? So this was happening in 2010 is what we're learning here. So this is 12 years old, this shit. And yet we're hearing about it now. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Publicly.
There's always such a huge delay when it comes to the science or it comes to certain things. It's like it all has to be kept in this like uber secrecy. And then we find out about it later and it's like, wait a minute, like how what are they doing now then? What are they doing now that they're not going to tell us about for 12 years and they've already fucked shit up?
And I love that I got this like totally randomly, like couldn't be more random that I found this website and it's related to what I was like, I can't. A feature that has made them very appealing to scientists wishing to do work on pluripotent stem cells, which has heretofore been restricted in the United States and elsewhere due to ethical concerns and legal limitations. Though early work with iPSCs failed to produce living mice from embryos containing iPSCs, several research teams in the US and Japan achieved success after injecting iPSCs into developing embryos. The insertion of iPSCs into mice also originally caused high rates of cancerous tumors, but removal of the CMYC genes from the retrovirus apparently eliminates the unusually high risk of cancer, according to further 2008 research by Yamanaka and his team. Despite the genetic alteration involved in producing iPSCs, in most other aspects, they are as yet indistinguishable from ESCs. In fact, the skills and resources required to produce iPSCs are significantly less labor-intensive and costly than those required for ESCs, and that most scientists with experience in genetic reprogramming can produce iPSCs. Neither iPSCs nor ESCs have yet been used in clinical treatments, though many researchers believe that undifferentiated cells hold even more potential for therapeutic applications than do adult stem cells, which are already used in a variety of therapies. Immediately hailed by the media as the next step toward personalized medicine and the answer to the ESC research controversy, many researchers, ethicists, writers, and anti-ESC research groups have called for an end to or reduction in ESC research and funding. Scientists in the field, including some of the teams working with iPSCs, caution that it is still too soon to assume that iPSCs can replace ESCs in clinical potential and that ESC research will continue to be important in increasing science's understanding of developmental biology. In addition, some scholars caution that iPSCs may eventually be altered to reach the totipotent state, which could nullify their ethical simplicity and place them on equal footing with embryos. Though iPSCs show a great deal of potential for stem cell therapies and clinical applications, scientists are still in the fledgling research stages for this technology. If they surpass ESCs in practicality and success rates without totipotent capabilities, however, iPSCs may lace much of the ethical controversy surrounding ESC research to rest. So definitely, like, they did something. This led to something, clearly. I'll put this in your notes here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not it. Well, actually, yeah, the YouTube, and then I do the next one. So, yeah, people, like, you can find shit somehow, some way these days.
So I forgot that I had something that I wanted to show tonight. I don't know what you have
more
next.
Weird science, though.
Yeah, this is in the same type of thing. It's researchers using GMO mosquitoes to vaccinate humans.
Oh, that's not connected to what I have, which is stem cell related. So I just wanted to do the stem cell related stuff first. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever order, I just wanted to let you know I have that I wanted to cover. We're in the weird kind of like the crazy science type stuff that we're doing right now. Like this, it's all they're fucking with nature. It's not okay.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for a long time.
Which one do you want me to pull? Which one do you need me to pull one of these up? I don't know which, because I wasn't.
Oh, I put one in. The last one is the Science Daily one. SciTech Daily.
Do you want to do it yourself, or do you want me to pull it up?
I'll do it. Yeah, it's fine. Thanks for bearing with us on this. I know this isn't the sexiest topic or whatever, guys, but thanks for bearing.
Well, it's gonna affect us. Like this is gonna all affect all of us. Like we need to, you know.
I told you, weird science. This is what we're doing.
Jilly, when you get your wings, we're gonna need some video footage. Okay.
She reminded me of the mosquitoes too that I have to show you guys. This is insane.
So back to the stem cell thing. So like I was looking this up because I saw something about a stem cell.
Applejack said it is a sexy topic.
Oh, okay. Who said?
Applejack.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's interesting as hell. Like this is the stuff that like this is happening. This you know, like most other places that I know of aren't kind of covering these kind of weird, you know, things. Like we kind of try to bring something that other people aren't going to always cover, you know, like so
this is from scitechdaily.com and it's from October 1st, 2022. So it's pretty recent. And it says biologists create a new type of human cells.
Oh, great. Yeah, like let's just oh my God. They're like they're really, you know.
Yeah, they're going hard in the paint here. Let's see.
Glad you found your phone, Stevie. That sucks. She lost her phone for like an hour. I would be so mad too.
Oh yeah.
You got to look up these articles.
Dang old phone. I'll tell you what.
The new model cells aid in the study of early embryonic development, of course. Professor Vincent Pasquet, whatever, and his colleagues at KU Leuven have used stem cells to create a new kind of human cell in the lab. The new cells closely mirror their natural counterparts in early human embryos. As a result, scientists are better able to understand what occurs just after an embryo implants in the womb. Come on, guys. I'm available if you need a proofreader. I will work for SciTech Daily as long as you pay me, please.
Elle's always giving her resume out on the show because they're one of our 20 watchers right now.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. They might be like, "Hey, we
politely asking for a job never hurt anyone."
Yeah, never hurt anyone. I would not mind it. Okay. I'm doing it the way they said it. I don't care. Was recently published in the journal Cell Stem Cell, which seems a little repetitive, but okay. A human embryo implants in the womb around 7 days after fertilization if everything goes correctly. Due to technological and ethical constraints, there's that word again. I think you know what it means. The embryo becomes unavailable for study at that point. That is why scientists have already created stem cell models for various kinds of embryonic and extra-embryonic cells in order to investigate human development in a dish. From left to right, we got Bradley Balaton, whatever your name is, Tijuan Alfam, Amitesh Panda, and Vincent Pasquet from Q Leuven, or whatever the fuck. So anyway, Vincent Pasquet's team at Q Leuven has developed the first model for a specific type of human embryo cells, extra-embryonic mesoderm cells. Professor Pasquet, these cells generate the first blood in an embryo, help to attach the embryo to the future placenta, and play a role in forming the primitive umbilical cord. In humans, this type of cell appears at an earlier developmental stage than in mouse embryos, and there might be other important differences between species. Yeah, because we're nothing like mice, but okay. That makes our model especially important. Research in mice may not give us answers that also apply to humans. Then why do it? This is my issue with mice in labs and them doing this shit. It does not work ever. You're just killing mice, you motherfuckers. I mean, I do get it. I don't get it. The model cells were created by the researchers using human stem cells, which can still grow into all cell types in an embryo. The new cells closely resemble their natural counterparts in human embryos and hence serve as an excellent model for that cell type. You don't make a new human cell type every day, Pasquet continues. We are very excited because now we can study processes that normally remain inaccessible during development. In fact, the model has already enabled us to find out where extra-embryonic mesoderm cells come from. In the longer term, our model will hopefully also shed more light on medical challenges such as fertility problems, miscarriages, and developmental disorders. Reference modeling human extra-embryonic mesoderm cells using naive pluripotent stem cells. Look, that's the word again, pluripotent. It's all connected, my dude. My goodness. Okay, so this is like 10, 12 years later, right? I'm freaking out because it's all connected. But like 12 years later, we're doing this. So we
I just love you like my dude, like
right? Yeah.
My dude.
And it gets worse. There's another one. So that leads me to the next one, which is about blastoids. So now we get to learn about blastoids, which is fun. I love all the stem cell research. It's great. So this is from phys.org, PYHS.org, and I'll put it in there for you, girl. There you go, girl. And we'll just do the one Phys, because I wanted to pick one of these Phys articles, but I decided this one's the most relevant one. Okay. So I am sharing it. I don't know why it's not on.
Oh, I have to add it to the stream. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, I was just being slow. I was in the private chat because I thought you were giving it to me to put up on the thing, and then I realized that you had it over there. I'm like, oh wait, I'm distracted.
Okay, so this is from September 30th, 2022. So day before that one. And again, I just look up like embryo. It's not that hard what I'm doing. You know, I just look up the stem cells and then I look at the news and then I get it. And phys.org is good for cell and microbiology in general. Like you can go into that category and find it. What's going on with Peaches?
Come on. I'm trying to get him to come over here. Come here.
Sorry, Alex.
Okay, that's probably.
I said weird science, and I'm giving you weird science.
Oh, good.
Go over there.
Peaches, come here. Over here.
That way. Go over there.
Should I get to it? Do we need peaches on the screen? Okay.
No, you're
So
fine.
this is from Hiroshima University. Again, these aren't like written by actual people. They're by entities. Should tell you something. Okay, so this is human blastoids offer medical hope, but also deep ethical challenges. There's that word again. They keep using it. It's almost like it means something. The study of blastoids, a research model of an early embryo derived from stem cells rather than from a father's sperm or a mother's egg, all connected, I told you, offers great hope for researchers investigating why pregnancies are lost at an early stage, what causes birth defects, and other topics related to early human development. Their use potentially avoids the challenges of scarcity and potential ethical problems of using actual embryos for the same sort of research. But a group of ethicists and a cellular biologist have warned that blastoids are not without their own set of ethical considerations. While mammalian blastoid research has advanced rapidly in recent years, often using mouse blastoids, again, there has been insufficient consideration of how to regulate the creation and research use of human blastoids, feasible only since 2021. A paper outlining some of these ethical challenges appeared in the journal Embo Reports on September 14th. Blastoids, sometimes called embryoids, resemble the cell's structure, morphology, and genetics of the very earliest form an embryo takes. Such an early embryo is called a blastocyst. Blastoids mimic early embryonic development up to and potentially just beyond the blastocyst stage 5 to 6 days after the first cell division. A major step forward in recent years has been the ability to grow blastocyst-like structures from pluripotent stem cells. There's that word again. Again, I tell you, like that was so important what I read, and I didn't even read it beforehand. That was improv. Just give me some credit there. Okay, cells that are able to take on many different cell types or tissue forms.
One credit for L.
Okay, thank you. But whereupon implantation into the uterus, blastocysts ultimately develop into a fetus. Blastoids do not, and so are considered a model of an embryo rather than an actual embryo, said bioethicist and associate professor Sutomu Sathwal of the Graduate School of Humanities and Social Sciences at Hiroshima University, a co-author of the paper. Or more precisely, there is so far no evidence that they can develop into a fetus, which is the crux of the ethical conundrum. The scholars in their paper did not set out to make an argument for or against different regulatory or ethical attitudes toward human blastoid research, but instead wanted to explore what problems might arise around regulation of them to inform a political, scientific, and societal conversation about this research. What makes the issue ethically fraught is that just as people have different views as to the moral status of embryos, especially in the context of research, they are likely to have different views on the moral status of blastoids. Some feel that the key question is whether embryos or blastoids have properties such as sentience, the ability to feel pain or experience consciousness, while others feel that the key question is whether they have the potential to do so. Some scientists have argued that blastoids and blastocysts are not functionally equivalent and would therefore not require the same level of oversight and regulation as human embryos. An opposing camp, however, has argued that blastoids will become functionally closer to blastocysts sooner or later if they are morphologically and genetically similar to normal blastocysts. As a result, this camp feels that blastoids and blastocysts should be treated the same by regulators as they may become functionally equivalent in the future. There have been no reports yet of mouse blastoids developing to the fetal stage, and so it is believed that mouse blastoids do not possess the ability to do so. In turn, it is assumed that human blastoids are similarly incapable. However, while mice are useful models, they are not the same as humans. But fuck, that's exactly what I've been saying the last few years when I've been saying that I don't understand this research, but okay. Yet it would not be socially and legally permissible to implant a blastoid into the uterus of a woman to find out whether human blastoids can develop further than mouse ones do. In addition, it may be the case that the failure of a mouse blastoid to develop into a fetus is the result of the culture technique or method of growing the blastoid in a lab, which necessarily will be different from the environment of a uterus. Theoretically, then, whether mouse or human, blastoids might indeed be able to develop further if culture techniques became available that perfectly mimic in utero development, which is what they're working on now. The feasibility of lab techniques perfectly mimicking in utero, however, remains speculative, and policymakers, researchers, and wider society need to assess what to do right now, not wait until such technological advances occur, added Professor Small. Taking these arguments into account, there are two options for regulating blastoid research. One is to differentiate between blastoids and blastocysts, since there is currently no convincing evidence to demonstrate that blastoids and blastocysts are functionally equivalent or are likely to become functionally equivalent in the near future. The other possibility is to regulate them in the same way, regardless of whether they are functionally equivalent or not, by emphasizing the genetic and structural similarities between the two. For example, Japan, the UK, and the US have taken a regulatory approach that embraces the first option, while Australia has chosen a path that embraces the latter option. The scholars also note that such research regulation can be affected by whether human blastoids are derived from stem cells that come from embryos, ESC, which we were seeing that debate about. This coming up again, unbelievably, in this article from the Embryo Project, remember? Or from what they are called induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSC. They're still having this debate. Amazing. This latter type comes from skin or blood cells that have been reprogrammed back into a pluripotent state as akin to that of embryo stem cells. The ethical issues related to IPC research are usually considered less severe than those for ESC research we already talked about, as the latter involves the destruction of embryos. But if regulators opt for a preference for iPSC-derived blastoids over ESC blastoids, thinking that they have avoided an ethical minefield, they may find that they are in one nevertheless. This is because iPSCs have the same genetic information as the donor, and so it may be reasonable to consider iPSC-derived blastoids as falling within the regulatory framework of cloned embryos. In the public consciousness, human cloning for research purposes has proven to be just as, if not more, ethically fraught than creating human embryos for research purposes. The very recent advent of the capacity to make human blastoids has meant that the debate over human blastoids has so far yet to leap much beyond the lab bench or regulatory office and pierce the public's consciousness in the way that the moral status of human embryos in scientific research has. But this situation is unlikely to remain the case for long, and the scholars feel this is a good thing. The rules for early developmental research, whether on blastoids or embryos, should not be decided by scientists or bioethicists alone, concluded Professor Small. Instead, a wider societal discussion must take the lead. So there's your weird science for tonight. I gave it to you. Stem cells, man. What a topic.
That's crazy.
Good fucking Lord.
I did a lot there.
That was a
We
lot.
came back. We circled back to the IPSCs. You didn't think the IPSCs and the ESCs would come back, but they came back.
I thought it was like poetry, you know, the way you guys do this thing, you know. I'm just hanging on by the.
It's fate, man. I don't know.
Seat of my pants.
I don't even know how I do it, honestly. If I could see myself in the future at like 16, I'd be like, what? Like,
Lady Alex, sleep well.
It's like writing. We love you, Alex. Thank you for joining us. I have a little.
Grey Walker said that they followed that completely. So that's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping people know about the blastoids a little bit. But that's related to everything with what they're doing with the embryonic cells and everything, or the stem cells and the, you know, not needing sperm and eggs and everything. Like that's all related to it. So we got to go when we cover these topics, we got to go through everything as much as we can to understand the topic and how it relates to the past and, you know, what's going on now. And the debate, how the debate never ends.
Hell yeah.
Do it there.
When you saw Weird Science, I bet you weren't thinking that, but that's what it was.
Well, I got some more weird freaking shit that they're doing. Crazy shit. With vaccinations and mosquitoes.
Delicious.
Like,
what could be finer?
I don't know. The bird uses my hair like a freaking like it's its own jungle gym.
Yeah, you're like his other roost.
Come over here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you having a good podcast, Peaches?
He is. So this is from The Defender. Don't take it from me.
He was taking the whole corn.
Yeah, he's trying to take the whole container from me. Like, you're gonna spill it, and then you're not gonna have any corn. Okay. Jeez. So they're using GMO mosquitoes to vaccinate humans in the NIH-funded malaria study.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
We'll just get mosquitoes to give everybody this stuff.
I mean, like, talk about, like, this is weird freaking, you know, this is more of that weird editing and messing with science. Who do you think was involved with it? Who do you think was involved? The National Institutes of Health funded a malaria vaccine trial study that used genetically modified mosquitoes to vaccinate humans. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was close ties to the research. Of course. And this is from October 3rd of 2022. So it says again, the National Institute of Health funded a malaria vaccine trial that used genetically modified GM mosquitoes to vaccinate humans. Now, remember, we talked about this before, Al, when they used mosquitoes in California and they released them in Florida, you know, saying they were trying to get rid of things. But now they're using them as a malaria vaccine. So they are messing with Mother Nature all over the place.
Yeah, they're actively...
What does this do to other animals like birds?
They're actively inoculating every single piece of livestock that, you know, gets consumed. They're literally giving them vaccines and antibiotics.
But that's not what. No, that's
every single one.
That's not. Yeah, but that's not what this is about.
I'm not talking about. I'm just making a statement.
Yeah. I mean, they are doing that too. They're inoculating everything, everybody and everything. Like, it feels like they're altering all of our DNA in one way or another, whether it's through stuff like this or the animals, or, you know, like there's not going to be anything, there's not going to be anybody left that hasn't been affected by this. It's going to be in every aspect of everything. So a team of researchers at the University of Washington conducted the study, which was published in the Science Transitional Medicine Journal. The study involved 26 participants, and like 26, that's it, who received 3 to 5 jabs or bites from a small box containing 200 GM mosquitoes over a 30-day period. You imagine, like, yeah, we're gonna have these mosquitoes bite you. Like, they're not just doing this on the animals, like they're doing it on the two-legged people too, as you know.
Yeah.
As Al's Weird Science shows. And this is just it's constant. Like, and only they know what's really happening and how this, like, really affects things. Because how long is it before that they tell us the effects of this? Are we gonna get this in 12 years too? That was it, Peaches. You ate all the corn. That was it. Yeah, it's all gone. See, it's all gone. So the company was funded in part with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's closely connected to the research, and the researchers involved in the trial used gene editing technology, and they heavily promoted by Bill Gates. So genetically modified mosquitoes used as flying syringes. Like, how scary is that? That sounds like a movie. That doesn't sound like something that's like a real life thing. And the trial used malaria-causing, Plasmodium mosquitoes. Is that right? Plasmodium mosquitoes that were genetically modified to avoid causing sickness in humans to infect participants with a minor version of malaria, insufficient to cause severe illness, but enough to make the humans create antibodies. So Dr. C. Murphy, lead author of the study, told NPR, "We use the mosquitoes like they're 1,000 small flying syringes." Can you imagine if one of those got loose? Like, yeah, I mean, and how much does that mosquito have? And like, how do you regulate that? How are you going to regulate mosquitoes? Like, this is fucking crazy shit. Despite the publicity generated by the study, however, results appear to have been mixed. The 14 trial participants exposed to malaria, 7 contracted the disease. For the remaining 7, the protection conferred by the vaccine did not last more than a few months and eventually dissipated. According to the study, half of the individuals in each vaccine group did not develop detectable what is this? How do I say this? This infection.
I can't see it now. Where is the thing?
You can't see it?
FAL.
Falciparum.
Falciparum.
P. falciparum.
Okay, falciparum. My dyslexia is like really bad today. Like, I'm having a hard time. And a subset of these individuals was subjected to second controlled human malaria infection 6 months later and remained partially protected. So according to the CDC, infections caused by that are more likely to progress to severely, potentially fatal forms of malaria. Adverse reactions in trial participants reportedly were what one would expect after getting bit by hundreds of mosquitoes and nothing more. This just seems bizarre. When I saw this, I was like, what the fuck is happening? For example, trial participant Carolina Reed told NPR her entire forearm swelled and blistered. Despite the study's mixed results, the researchers claimed the results support further development of genetically as potential malaria vaccines. Yeah, exactly. Because, yeah. You say it better. Okay. No. See, I know Papa left. I know. Okay. So the researchers suggested several Several reasons for using live mosquitoes rather than a vaccine could be delivered via a syringe, including that the use of live insects made sense. Okay, no. I know he Really, Steve? Thanks, Steve. Hang on. Okay, you're going to have to go over here. Come on. Okay, he'll be right back. No, it's not worth a fit. No. Okay. So, hey. Chill, dude. Chill. In addition, the process of developing a version of the parasite that could be delivered via a syringe was described as costly and time-consuming. Because nothing says, like, you know, we're going to alter mosquitoes and that's going to not be time-consuming. What the hell? They need ones that they can release out to the public and just let go. Nevertheless, according to Murphy, the study will not be used for the mass vaccination of humans. However, the researchers involved in the trial said they believe the approach can eventually result in the development of a substantially more effective malaria vaccine. At present, one of the malaria vaccines is in use. The RTS-S vaccine produced by GlaxoSmithKline was approved by the World Health Organization in October of 2021, but reportedly has the efficacy rate of only 30 to 40%. And YouTube, I'm just reading an article. I'm not giving my opinion on this right here. A vaccine researcher at the University of Maryland described the use of genetically modified live parasite as vaccine as a total game changer, saying the team of researchers went old school with this one. All things old become new again. Who was not involved in the GM mosquito malaria trial, led the phase 1 trials for Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines, and also served as a co-investigator for COVID-19 vaccine trials administered by Moderna and Novavax. So this, I came across this the other day, and I was like, this is just insane. And it reminded me of when we covered the mosquitoes before and how they were letting them go and they were going to use them to, you know, to make other mosquitoes not produce, and they were going to get rid of certain diseases. And human error itself. What if these got released to the general public, and how do they know how much people get from these? So this is something I want to definitely look into further, but this is the kind of thing that we need to be keeping our eyes out about, and like what they're doing.
I'm done noshing now.
Okay.
I had to nosh. I forgot to nosh, and so I had to nosh.
Yes.
I was too into the show to nourish myself. I said.
Yeah, you hear it? She needed it, Peaches. She needed to eat. Yeah, she did.
I was just eating some cauliflower puffs for dinner. Not dinner, because I already had dinner. So this is my last nosh. So I have a last nosh before bed. And it's supposed to be before 7, and I'm very late. So now my clock is going to be weird tomorrow. My fast is fucked up now. That's my fault for forgetting. It's really easy to forget to nosh, because noshing isn't as a big a meal as a regular meal. I had an English muffin with hummus and fake cheese and a carrot, like a piece of carrot. And then I had some carrot chips. It sounds better than it is. It's not actual chips. I wish I had chips, but they didn't look organic, so I didn't get them. But they're like chips. They look like chips, but they don't taste like chips. But they're raw carrots. But anyway, I had one on the sandwich after I ate my carrots with hummus. Now you know what I ate. And I also ate 5 sesame seed sugar snacks. It's kind of like a Rice Krispies, but with sesame seeds. It's pretty good. Organic.
Yeah.
No vaccines, though. Sorry. But this kind of leads to the biometrics news. Kind of. Not really.
Yeah. Okay. So
Open philanthropy, by the way, just a reminder, that's Moskowitz. That's who I've talked about before. It says right there.
Yeah, I
so
haven't gotten to that part yet.
Oh, I thought we were done. I don't know why.
No,
no. Long ass article then. Damn.
Not really. It wasn't that long.
There's a lot in it. Is what I mean. It's packed.
So as Open Philanthropy, one of the main funders is Dustin Moskowitz, co-founder of the Facebook, along with Mark Zuckerberg, funded a monkeypox tabletop simulation that predicted a global monkeypox pandemic in May of 2022. The same month an outbreak occurred. No coincidence. One Open Philanthropy, oh my God, I cannot say it, has over the past decade provided hundreds of millions of dollars in donations and grants for global health, biosecurity, and pandemic preparedness and global catastrophic risks. In turn, the Institute of One World Health, which claims its partner with communities in developing countries to bring permanent sustainable health care to chronically underserved, has received multiple grants from the BMGF, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, including a 2004 grant for the development of a malaria vaccine. So this article like kind of ties it all together. All the key players and everybody that's really involved. What is your deal? Oh my God, the dog, whatever. He could be on the floor. Do we have to freak out over him, Peaches? Really? So other donors include the NIH, the Allergy and Infectious Disease, headed by Dr. Anthony Fauci, of course, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Center for Infectious Disease Research, National Institute of Standards, the Military Infectious Disease Research Program, and the European Vaccine Initiative. It just that, these are all great places, right? And then one of the novel aspects of the University of Washington trial was that the parasites used were disarmed using CRISPR or clustered regulatory interspace short palindromic repeats gene editing tools. Basically, yeah. So I've covered CRISPR before on the show and what it is. It's absolutely it's they're editing the DNA and they're using that to do all kinds of things. It's acting as a precise pair of molecular scissors that cut DNA sequence. And they attach a new sequence into there. Yeah. They guide sequence that attaches to the target DNA sequence. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that all the key characters are just all tied together in this nice article about how they're using bugs, mosquitoes to vaccinate in this study. When it comes to malaria and other mosquito-borne diseases, CRISPR, Cas9 or other gene editing tools are being used to change the insect's genome to ensure that they cannot pass along the parasites that cause those diseases. Gates, an enthusiastic proponent of CRISPR, previously suggested CRISPR could be used to eliminate mosquitoes that transmit malaria. According to 2018 Insider Business Report, Gates has been a long supportive user of gene editing tools. He is one of the earliest investors and in the company that used to start CRISPR.
Billy Boy.
Of course.
Got his fingers in all the pie.
Well, it's not just him. It's everybody. It's everybody is involved with this. So I'm skipping through a little bit of this. Right here it says in Brazil, the GM mosquitoes that were released were said to lack the ability to produce offspring, but nonetheless found to have reproduced. So remember, like, this is like Bill and Melinda Gates. They released those mosquitoes. And right here, it goes into that. They conducted pilot projects in Florida and Brazil using GM mosquitoes. And that's what I was talking about earlier, about how they've done this before, and purportedly with the aim of reducing the spread of mosquito-borne illnesses. And now in Brazil, the GM mosquitoes that were released were said to lack the ability to produce offspring, but were nonetheless found to have reproduced. So, you know, they're messing with other countries again, still, because that's what they always do. The Bill and Melinda Gates also reportedly was heavily involved in trials using GM mosquitoes in India, and even went as far to propose in 2017, along with Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs, the development of a mosquito emoji to be used for public health campaigns. So this really is interesting. I want to look into this further. But I wanted to show you guys this. So I'm going to make sure that I put this over here for later. And I'm going to give you guys the link if you would like. Also, it's on the Defender, the Children's Health Defense website. And that's the one that is the Robert F. Kennedy, the one that came out with the real Anthony Fauci book. And they are
we allowed to say his name?
I don't know.
I certainly can't show a speech of his. That's not allowed.
Well, I don't know. But he has a documentary coming out on that book. No, he does. No, he does. I have it right here.
But it's alleged. Wink, wink.
Yes, allegedly.
Everything's alleged. Except for
okay. Here is did it show it? This is his new documentary that's going to be coming out. And I will.
We do not endorse.
No, I haven't seen it or anything.
I'm just saying in general, like, I don't want us to lose this video.
But anyway, so I'm not going to play the clip, but I will give you guys the link if you want to check it out, because I don't want to get any kind of, issues with playing that. But I wanted to make sure that, you guys were aware that was happening. I want to look farther into the mosquitoes and this whole thing and what's happening with Brazil. There's a lot of eyes on Brazil right now.
Well, we're segueing from Brazil to America again.
Well, that was about America too, but I'm just saying that there is a lot of eyes.
That's why I said again. So if you look, I put in the article for biometric update. I don't know how to segue it. This is the update on biometrics, which we have to look forward to in the U.S. There's my segue.
Do you want to do it? Do you want to share it? You can do that if you want.
Sure, I'll present. I'm the professor. I'm Klaus. All right, we should start with Google Pixel, because people probably use that. So I'll go there first.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Here's a couple of updates from October 6th from biometricupdate.com, which I like to keep abreast of the latest on. So Google Pixel 7 supports face and fingerprint. This is all facial recognition, by the way, technology updates. So
Yes,
not
Joey.
related necessarily, but still related. It's adjacent to the COVID-19 thing. Okay, so this is by Alessandro Massolino, not Chris Burt for once. Okay, shout out to Chris Burt, who writes a lot of articles on this website. But anyway, the Google Pixel 7. Let me scooch it. No, that looks worse. Why? That looks better. Okay. Is officially out today. Despite multiple leaks suggesting the devices will not be a substantial upgrade over the Pixel S series. The Pixel 6 series 6S. What's the difference? I apparently have a lisp. Just go with it. Okay. The new Pixel phones do feature face biometrics capabilities. The facial unlock support is listed on Google's pre-order page for the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro, which are now officially available. Also, Android expert Michal Rahman managed to pull the information out of Google Play Console last week before the company took it down ahead of the official launch. According to the listing, both Pixel 7 and 7 Pro support Android hardware biometrics face, which confirms that biometric face unlocking is present on the devices. Because they're competing, remember, with iPhones, and iPhones have that technology and they use it a lot. At the time of writing, it is not yet clear how the smartphones will achieve this functionality at a more technical level. However, Google officially confirmed today the Pixel 7 line will support both face unlock via machine learning models on its new Tensor 6 G2 chip, which the company says is up to 60% faster and up to 20% more efficient than Google's previous flagship line. Biometric data appears to be stored in Google's Titan M2 security chip. At the Made by Google launch conference, the company also confirmed the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro will feature an under-display fingerprint sensor just like the Pixel 6 line, but hopefully faster, they say. The last Google phones supporting native face biometric unlock were the Pixel 4 and 4 XL. As explained by Android Police, the face biometric capabilities in the Pixel 7 lines could be hardware-based. Google is expected to update the Pixel 7 line store page with more details soon, which should also include information about the device's biometric unlock capabilities. Touch ID may not return to flagship iPhones. In other news, at the other side of the smartphone war is Apple, which seems to have ditched a possible return of Touch IDs on its devices. In fact, the recently released iPhone 14 lineup does not support fingerprint biometric unlocking. The devices do not have fingerprint sensors at all. According to a recent analysis by Bloomberg and discussed on Apple Insider, the iPhone maker has been teasing the return of finger biometric unlock on its devices for a while, but is unlikely the chatter will translate into reality any soon. I was really hoping that we wouldn't have any typos, but we do. I was just now thinking this has no typos. This is so much better. And then immediately after I thought that, I've run into a fucking typo. I'm available, biometricupdate.com. I can proofread, please. Thank you. And then you put a fucking comma. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, still, according to Sunday Sunday's Bloomberg Power On newsletter, Mark Gurman writes that Apple has been discussing the technology again. And while it is unlikely Touch ID will return to flagship iPhones any soon, again, really? Why? You did it twice. How? Gurman believes a power button featuring Touch ID could still be integrated on lower end models, including the iPhone SE, which is the one I have, but I have like the first generation one. And by the way, I don't use any of that shit. It is on my phone, but I do not use it. I think it's Touch ID or whatever, but I have nothing to do with that. I turn it off as soon as I got my phone, and I don't fuck with it. So there's just one more article that I have that is an update, a very sad update actually, because it involves children again. They love to fuck with children, I swear, for security's sake, right? So for their safety, right? This is in Montana, so here we go.
Miguel, you would think they would have the technology to find, like, you know, like spelling mistakes.
No, that's on biometricupdate.com. That wasn't the
No,
original article.
Miguel was talking about something else. I have a comment.
Oh, yeah, I see that. I see. Never mind. I'm stupid. I didn't read it. I found a typo. I read that as something else because your brain works weird sometimes and it sees things that aren't there. I apologize, Miguel. Thank you. And
Peaches is correcting you.
I apologize to you as well, Peaches. I made a mistake.
He really is looking at you too. He's looking in the computer now.
I'm looking at something else, so I don't care. All right. Chris Burt wrote this article. Shout out to Chris Burt. I'm available if you need a proofreader. I'm better at writing than speaking, so there's that. Okay. This is U.S. schools increasingly turn to facial recognition in search of safety. Will they find it? Let's find out. October 6, 2022 by Chris Burt, my favorite author at Biometrics Update, which is the one who authors the most articles, apparently. I love this creepy-ass picture with the children and their faces. It's great. Thank you for that image. Schools in Montana are using facial recognition from Verdaka in an attempt to improve safety. Attempt being the key word. Though officials are unsure how many, the Daily Montanan reports. The article suggests up to 30 schools could be using the technology, but the specific number is unknown. Sun River Valley School District was recently revealed by Montana Public Radio to have been using facial recognition for the last 2 years. The technology was deployed in elementary, middle, and high schools. The biometric system is fed a watch list from the local sheriff's department, as well as yearbook photos of students, not at all creepy, according to the MTPR report. Superintendent David Martzoff said the system also provides an alert if a parent who does not have custody of a child is on the premises. He also said the system can only be viewed by himself and 2 principals spelled wrong in the district. Again, available for proofreading right here, Chris. All right. School administrators of Montana Executive Director Rob Watson said at a meeting that up to 35 school districts in the state may have contracts with Verdaka. It is possible, if not likely, that some have contracted surveillance camera technology without facial recognition. However, live feeds of surveillance cameras were exposed in a hack on Verdaka last year. With regard to facial recognition technology, it's an emerging issue that my peers around the country and other state associations serving school boards are beginning to understand and take notice of, similar to the members of the committee this interim, says Chris Goss, a Montana School Boards Association attorney. Goss points out that companies offering facial recognition technology in the state's schools must follow the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, Child Information Privacy Act, and the Montana Pupil Online Personal Information Protection Act. Leading surveillance camera industry publication IPVM has reported extensively on problems experienced with Verdaka's cameras in schools and aggressive pursuit of the U.S. scholastic market. Meanwhile, in Greenwood, Indiana, Clark Pleasant Community School Corporation is adding facial recognition to cameras in its schools, according to CBS 4. The district has hundreds of cameras in schools and plans to spend funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, it's all connected, to implement a range of security measures. Those appear to include computer vision AI to detect events from fights to vaping, based on the comments of Superintendent Patrick Spray. Greenwood Mayor Mark Myers cited the mass shooting at a school in Uvalde, Texas in May as motivation for directing the funds towards school safety. The same trend has been seen elsewhere in the U.S. and other countries around the world, but a UK report earlier this year posed questions about data protection and the trustworthiness of technology partners. Critics also contend that regulation and even best practices often lag behind deployments. Yes, they do. So there's your biometrics update for the day. Great things happening everywhere.
God.
The future.
More things, implementing by things happening that are not dealt with, that are making it possible to implement things that are not going to be healthy for society at all. Detrimental to society.
Jilly, you know what's cool? My credit union actually has these little things. I don't know if I had another one, but they have I literally can slide a thing to cover my camera on my computer, just right up at the top. We keep it closed when we're not doing when we don't need it for streams or whatever. But I have one on my iPad and I have one on the laptop.
I'm getting one from my eyelids. So I don't have to look.
But it's just this little plastic thing that just has a little holder and it slides. But Miguel, I think that's okay, Peaches.
All right, Peaches, we're almost done, buddy.
Peaches.
Wrapping it up. He's just anxious.
Yeah, that's it for me, by the way.
2 podcasts in a row. He's like, woo.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I just have one local update that you probably saw on Twitter real quick. It was the vaccine mandate at the LA Phil is done finally. The last mask mandate. They had the vaccine mandate, then they went back and forth on it, and then they got rid of that, and then they had the masks forever, just there for no reason, and then they started to just recommend them, and eventually they'll just get rid of it, I'm sure, because it didn't work, and people stopped complying anyway, and they stopped giving the money, and when you stop giving people money, they notice that. So that's a good way to starve corporations. Just starve corporations so that you can keep your rights. It's pretty stupid, but that's where we're at.
I did have a couple quick little things that I found interesting on Twitter in case people didn't see them. This is a 30-second clip of Trump.
How dare you?
Why would I be showing Trump? Did he say something that was good?
Something.
Or really bad?
Even a broken clock.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think it was bad or do you think it was good? What Trump was saying? And what are the shitlibs going to say about this? I know. It's Trump, Peaches. It's Trump.
Oh, my God. Not the orange guy.
Are we allowed to put him on this platform? I don't even know anymore.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know. I just 30 seconds. I'm playing it.
Save America from Trump. There. We're good.
Sure.
Yeah, that'll cancel it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a Trump fan, but this is interesting what he said.
We must demand the immediate negotiation of a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine, or we will end up in World War III, and there will be nothing left of our planet, all because stupid people didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue. They really don't understand. I rebuilt our military. I rebuilt our nuclear power. They don't understand what they're dealing with, the power of nuclear. We must demand the immediate negotiation of a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine.
I mean,
we will end up in World War III, and there will be nothing left.
Is he fucking wrong?
No.
Well, they want World War III, though.
They want it.
They okay. I know, but they may, but Trump himself, I don't think he's wrong in what he's saying. Okay. So what are the shit lips gonna do? Hey, stop it right now. Yes, preen my hair.
They'll say he's not helping the war effort. He needs to help Ukraine.
Yeah, he's not standing. He must be working with
anti-Ukraine.
Putin. Yeah.
He's
Obviously,
is
Putin puppet.
right up their alley. So it's
Sure.
like controlled opposition. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm not a Trump or a Biden fan, Emma. Like, it's not about that, but it's just about the fact that Trump is making more sense right now
But they
than,
like war.
than
so
most
they're cool.
people are. This is insane that he's making. I get that, but it's coming from Trump. He's trying to say, like, let's not go and let's not let this happen. So I'm just pointing out that I agree with the guy.
Well, the voice of reason.
It's also after Elon said the same
Lots of
thing.
fucking coats, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it's not somebody that I usually agree with.
That's right.
And I don't feel like I don't feel like he should have been censored. And it's important that we do amplify voices that are speaking the truth to like no matter what. And it's insane.
It's all very crazy.
Yeah, the Democrats are not pushing for peace, Jilly. Exactly. Like this is I feel like we're in bizarro world. Like we are literally living through the zombie apocalypse because everything is backwards. Everybody's going through the motions of things. And okay, dude, everyone's going through the motions of things and just like going along with it instead of actually critically thinking about it.
Remember when Obama was president, they were cool with war at that point too.
Same
and
thing.
The drones.
Same
so
thing. Everybody
very
just
similar.
comfy.
Syria, they ignore it.
Yep.
Libya, who gives a shit?
Very
Water,
true.
Don't care.
Yep.
Make him president again.
Yeah, whatever. I don't,
Exactly, little. Screw cancel culture, even a broken clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Trump really isn't a peaceful person himself, too. Like people are like, oh, well, he didn't start any wars. He might not have started wars, but he'd also like it's not like we went to 0 wars and he was the man of peace
He was
either.
No,
his
but
for good too.
Yeah.
But at the, you know what I mean? Like he is right now that he is on the right side of that. And that's why it's not okay. I will stand up for the speech of people that I don't agree with. And I don't feel like he should have been censored too. And that's why I brought that. Cause it's like, okay, so people will be like, oh, well, I don't agree with other things that he says. Well, yeah, you don't have to agree with other things. I don't agree personally with other. Hang on, we can't all talk. Like, we can't all do this at the same time.
Peaches.
All right, I'm just gonna wrap this up then. But I just thought that was interesting, and that was something that that should be amplified because it's a anti World War III voice.
I think it's clear that you are a Trump supporter and you should be condemned as such.
Of course.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when he was first campaigning for president and saying he was going to get rid of term limits for Congress. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember that lie. Like, people lied to get elected, obviously.
I'm old enough,
he's playing the game.
I'm old enough, to remember when he would it would come up to the time where is Trump going to announce that he's running? No, not this year. No, is Trump going to run this year? No, not this year. Is Trump going to run this year? Like that happened like for fucking like a
You had
decade.
to talk to
and a
Bill
half.
about it, right?
Well,
there had to
yeah.
be a conversation with Bill.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton.
A couple key people, Jeffrey, maybe,
Probably Kissinger.
Yeah. Henri.
It's just that he really does speak to a large portion of the country, and if he's saying something that's right, then that should be that's hopeful that maybe more people will be against what is happening.
That's right.
But then again, the other half of people in this country or whatever, like I don't know what the percentage.
But it's also to sow division. That's the thing. It's like they'll have them speak out about certain things, and then that'll get everybody riled up against each other again.
Sure.
And it just goes to serve division and divide and rule. That's what they do.
Pretty much anything that gets soundbited like that, that's what it's designed to do, is just to cause more dissension and more division. Like
I don't think any of them believe anything they fucking say.
Yeah, no, but I still feel like it is important to say when somebody does get something right, whether I agree with them or not.
Yep, I agree.
Well,
for
he didn't
everything.
do anything, he just said stuff. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, he is doing something by saying it to a large group, a large population of this country. That he has a huge influence on a large population.
He also said to get the vaccine to the large group and the booster and everything, and said you're crazy if you think anything's wrong.
And we condemned him for that. So,
But I'm saying he says things certain times.
Yeah, no. We agree.
I'm not saying that he gets everything right. I'm just saying
no.
right now that's the right thing to say.
We agree that everything is done with a motive in mind. Every soundbite.
I'm not in any delusion with Trump.
There's no delusion here.
I'm not doing an intervention or anything. Don't worry.
This is not like I'm not in any kind of like delusion as to what he's saying, but it is something that is important that he is saying that. It's notable.
That's all.
That he's being the anti he doesn't want us to go into that. Like it's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's like he got assigned a part and he said the words they told
He's
him.
agreeing with Elon Musk, I believe. So like they're on the same fake page. They have to play their roles.
Yep.
And then Elon Musk is full of shit too because he did the Starlink, which is in fucking Ukraine. So.
Yeah, now they're trying to go against him and say that like he made it stop working and this and that, like as if his products are all just fucking stellar, but
Yeah, remember the flammable cars, guys? Come on now. Self-driving cars.
Hey, that reminds me of a song.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
We love you.
We love you all.
Yes.
Listen to my podcast.
Listen to Elle's
Stop
podcast.
spreading information. It's our job.
Go check out Drizzle Stank's podcast too.
Yes,
He
yes,
just did one
please.
today and it
I
was
helped
awesome.
produce Drew's first podcast today. We did that before this show, so I'm really tired. I'm definitely ready to wrap this up. But yeah, Drew, you should put the link in there. You guys should please check it out. It was really good. It was a lot of information and Drew's personal story, and many people are affected by epilepsy, and it can be a very debilitating thing to go through, and it's not visible. People don't see it, just like they don't see the spinal fusion in my back. People assume things about people, and like not every disability is a wheelchair or something that you can physically point to and say that. So just remember that, and love one another, and remember that
Yeah, and check out Seb's podcast too that he doesn't have yet. Also,
but I will help you, Seb, if you want to do a podcast.
That's right.
I know you mentioned it earlier. You'll have one someday. All right. Yes, I'm going to play our little outro.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Miguel. Love you. Love you all.
Love you all. Good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Namaste, everybody. Remember, smiles are free, but they're worth a lot.
More than gold.
Hydro fuel cuts through my neighborhood. Somehow that always just made me feel good. And I can put a spare bulb in my hand, light up my yard. Late at night when the wires in the walls sing in tune with the din of the falls, I'm conducting it all while I sleep to light this whole town.
Good show. We're apparently still on. Love you guys.